Slow little jumper one, perhaps.
Nothing forceful. Should have looked to his left, umpire Ryan. Umpire McBurney bounces the footy and away we go. Renoff hooks it down behind. Sewell back in the team last week. Earned a reprieve, 39 possessions. The result, kicks inside the forward 50. Drifting back. Fisher, 18 marks, a career high last week. Plays on, just gives it across to Del Santo. Back in the side tonight.
Clint Jones lined up on Franklin. Surely that's just the way the centre bounce set up. He couldn't be on him all night.
That's really respecting his running power, I think, Lee.
Jones got it to Dawson. Dawson hugs the boundary line. Knocked away, though, by Hodge. Hayes, no alternative, just had to wait. Here's what happened at the bounce.
Sometimes you just get them right in the right spot there and you can be felled like that. So we'll see what happens.
Shades of the fight during the week in Perth. Danny Green. Briggs just hitting the deck, or was it Murphy? Falling to the ground, Ray in the road. Rioli, Sewell, Burgoyne.
And just down in the Hawthorn forward line at the moment, there's a bit of ring-a-rosy going on. Osborne's trying to get to Gilbert, and Sam Mitchell's also playing a role. Gwilt involved from St Kilda too.
Franklin wide. So Renoff, now Murphy. He's recovered a lot better than Briggs, hasn't he? That's a floater by Bateman. Rioli held on to. Roughhead, Gwilt, Rioli.
Yeah, stay there. Thanks, Jared. Cheers, mate.
So it was actually Rioli who probably should have taken the free kick, being legged. Now Burgoyne had a lot of the ball last week, particularly Hodge. Squeezes it out, and Ellis was good there. Accelerated into the ball. There wasn't a lot of space, was there?
I think the kick was actually made him come towards him. Hodge just set that up beautifully. He saw that Ellis, he could get the ball to him, but he just had to drop it forward. That was drawing the marking player into the kick.
There's 1 goal 3 from set shots. They've had a lot of inaccurate goal kickers this year, the Hawks. Ellis not going to get the distance, and Gardner's taken a very, very easy mark.
Buddy Franklin was actually around Xavier Ellis there looking for the hand pass. Would prefer to see him down and have some representation, some tall, strong representation on the goal line, preventing the Gardner mark.
Ray, indiscretion early, follows up. Graham, Gwilt, across the face of goal. Gardner, who moments ago took that towering mark, drives it towards our broadcast side. Leading back the races, Franklin, coming up to meet the football, Schneider. Schneider tumbled over, got hands to it and directed it, I think with intent, out of bounds. Throw in right half forward. Collingwood got some early goals last week, and that really put St Kilda behind the 8 ball. Down goes Hodge. Sewell at close quarters. Tries to wriggle free. Well done, Hayes. Wrenches the ball out of there. Beautiful hand pass. Goddard to the run of Ray. Runs to the wing. Kicks inside the forward 50. Revolt and Gibson. Loose ball at the back. Gibson did his job. He got Revolt down. Neither one of them touched the footy. Stratton a hand pass to Birchall.
And then Birchall's handball in close to Guerra. Back to Stratton. 15th consecutive match for him. Not a great kick. And Dennis told you about Fisher's marking last week. Started with a couple tonight. Graham inside to Montagna. Montagna off 1 step to fall forward. Kazitsky couldn't really get a crack at it. Gillam and Murphy waxed it a bit.
Too high, your free kick. Too high, back 2 metres here. Stephen, 2 metres. Keep coming back. Keep coming back, that's it. Play on.
Well, probably a mark. Yep. But we needed the replay to show it.
So Ellis front spot. And Fisher at the back. Down to you, Tim.
Well, Jones has tried to get to Hodge, but already Hodge has had 2 clearances, so that's got to be a bit of a concern. The message may be going out very shortly about the fact that he's just got to make sure that he stops him at those stoppages.
Hayes, third man up, taps it down. Ray, was he pushed in the back? Yes.
Let it go, guys. Nothing there, right? Hold it back over. Let these guys get up. Up, guys, please, out of the mark.
Actually,
right,
Jones has been initially on Franklin, Hodge, and then he was trying to get towards Rioli. He's mixing up where he's trying to go to.
Baron Ray comes back. Blake towards Hawk forward. It's going to be a relayed free kick.
That's unfortunate. The Hawks are away then too.
Jones, Gwilt, smothered off the boot, Rioli. Rioli runs on, taking up an active position. They need to win this football. Osborne's done it. Rioli is covered now. Just watching Rioli off the ball, has the instincts of an attacking player. Burgoyne short. Here's Mitchell.
Speaking of short, he's a good short, isn't he? He's been in wonderful form the last month. Burgoyne got it from Saul, and then back they go again. And then Stratton with a floating long one. Rioli and Graham and Roughhead. Renouf couldn't quite get away. It was well done by Dal Santo. Down low, was it Rioli? I think it was. And then Graham and Osborne. Osborne, well, you heard the ump. Said he ducked.
What we're seeing here with the Hawthorn forwards, the massive work rate, all pushing out. Buddy Franklin, you get the feeling that he's going to try and get those goals running back towards goals. Zach Dawson, his direct opponent, is preferring to sit back. I'd prefer to see a Gilbert or a Fisher in that quarterback role to set up the play for St Kilda.
Dawson across to Goddard, who kicks a high ball towards the wing. Committed there was Gibson. As a result, Revolt is free behind. Gibson needed that ball in front. Revolt comes back to Stephen. Lays it off to Goddard. Looks towards the corridor. Schneider. 2 men on the onside. Goes to them now. Taken by Gwilt. Gwilt just lays it down towards the pocket. 3 men everywhere. They had 2 at half forward. And Kazitsky inside the forward 50. And Hawthorn in disarray.
That was all set up by Goddard's kick from wing inside the centre square. As soon as it's a dangerous kick, but once you can get it into the centre square, well, then you take it to the open side. Kazitsky was on that. That's just a beautiful shot of just the way that play was set up, and it was all down to Goddard's courage to go inboard and skill to make it work.
Kazitsky, he'll have a goal here. So with his Saints, and he slots it right through the middle. That'll be good for his confidence.
It was Goddard's kick that opened up the play. You hear so often that coaches and footy fans in general talk about courage in the sense that you put your head over the ball or you go back with the flight, but courage is also directly referred to your type of ball use, and Goddard, as we see on screen here,
fantastic, isn't it? Fantastic how he did that.
had the ability. The Hawthorn player probably had 1.5 meters from St Kilda opponent, but the courage and conviction to back your leg and bring it in like that set up that goal.
Well, as the boys have already mentioned, Goddard set that goal up. He'll be appreciating the space. Last week he didn't get anywhere near that sort of space against Collingwood. They really hunted him. They saw him as the key player in terms of his ability to set the play up by foot, as we've already seen in the early stages of this game.
Skipper goes early. McWalter to Dal Santo. Bangs it forward to about 60 metres. Jones and Young. Young just worked him off and then hooked the ball back to a contest. Sorted very well. I heard the umpire. I couldn't have said it better myself. I reckon he'd commentate better than I'd umpire. So Saul in the back half. Just 9 kicks last week in those 39 disposals. Roughhead coughed it up. Stephen slung off it by Mitchell. And the ball's out.
And I think Clint Jones has finally got to Clinton Young. I don't know whether he was trying to go to him. Actually, Young, in the last 2.5 seasons, when he's played, the Hawks are 27 wins for 10 losses. So he's been really important for their winning effort.
Only played 5 games last year.
Good year to be out,
Lee. good for your average, isn't it?
Good for your average last year.
So Brown, Cozzy did very well again. Gets it to Jones. And again, Saints with some numbers.
Schneider just drifting back, aided by Jones, took the mark uncontested. What a beautiful kick, Kazitsky, 25 metres out. Now he's made a mistake. Can he make amends? Yes, he can. Gets his second. Whoa, living dangerously.
Got to wonder, how did Kazitsky get so much space? He's playing as a permanent forward. Gillum is a direct matchup, but he's been really good, Gillum, recently. But how? Maybe there's an interchange that happened or something, because you just wouldn't think a full forward, which is where Kazitsky's playing at the moment, could get that far clear.
Well, Gillum went up to the Kazitsky went up to the stoppage. Gillum chose to stay back, but obviously didn't get him on the way through.
Couldn't watch him.
The question here has to be asked is how Kazitsky got so free. Kazitsky actually pushed right up to the stoppage about 10-15 seconds prior. Gillum chose to sat back in the hole, but wasn't aware enough to gather Kazitsky on his way through. Good result for the Saints.
Great result for Kazitsky with a couple of goals. Banging forward. Lewis did a good job. And then Roughhead dribbling it home. A good reply. So two big forwards in the news, Ruffy and Cuzzy, get the goals.
One thing about the centre bounce, it might be worth going slow sometimes, but a centre bounce is the one time, if you're in the centre corridor, stay in the centre corridor, drive it forward, because all of a sudden the ball is 20 metres out straight in front. Hawthorn get a kick to goal.
And what it does is, even on that footage there, you saw the St Kilda defenders here. We've got Gilbert, we've got Fisher, and then Blake as well. You become reactive as a defender. You become reactive. You get nervous when the ball gets pumped in direct. Doesn't matter how good a player you are. When the ball comes in fast like that, it did on the Hawthorn's occasion, as a defender, very nervous.
And there's the good news. Ashton Kutcher got in, so he's alongside the right man. Gillon McLaughlin from the AFL, one of the famous McLaughlin brothers, back in the middle. Rucks go at it, one down by McEvoy. Falling to the ground, Goddard, Stephen inside the centre square, low and flat, but onto the chest of Gillon. So Gillon up from the back pocket, running hard, presenting on the outer side was Franklin. Getting between Franklin and the football was Stratton. And now they'll run it up the outer side. Franklin loops it over the top, missed him on the way back. Sewell, it's out of bounds.
You get the feeling that's going to be part of Buddy's job tonight, to push right up the ground, similar to the game he played on Friday night footy against the Bombers, where he tore the Bombers apart, getting the ball running forward towards the goal on his favourable left foot.
Goddard did well there, just to cut the saw.
Hold him back by the arm, play skipper.
He's got the right matchup too, because Dawson won't be able to run with Franklin. He's trying to chase him around midfield, so that should be a good matchup for Franklin.
Skipper's long ball in, Roughhead with him, Blake, and then released it Roughhead. Blake held on to him. Burgoyne's toe poke, Gwilt worked it back. Ellis got in low, did well, and now Peak over the top. Burgoyne over the top of him. Montagna, ball off the ground, not 15, you heard the call. Blake held on to, ball out of play.
Just see Sean Burgoyne on screen there. He's up to 4 possessions. He's really starting to work himself into the season at the moment. Really crucial, obvious player for the Hawks to charge towards the finals.
McEvoy reaches over the top. Goddard gave it to Hayes outside of the boot. What about 2 metres? Hodge along the boundary line. That was well done. Finding a way through was Whitecross. Kicks it long towards full forward. Osborne almost tried to hack it out of midair. Arriving very quickly was Lewis. Diving on top of the football is Gilbert. And we've got a whistle and a ball up about 12 metres out from goal.
Thank you.
Smart handball, no room over the top. Good use. She's a smart footballer, Hodge. Makes really good decisions.
Dangerous situation here for the Saints. Plenty of body work.
Play on.
One down by McEvoy in a dangerous situation. Osborne got a boot to it and puts it through.
A lot gets spoken about Franklin and Roughhead and the dangerous forwards, but the players that have been doing fantastic jobs from a coaching point of view have been Osborne and Lewis. They've been playing a defensive sort of role on the opposition's best defenders, if you like, or best attacking defenders, and deserve the respect as pure forwards as well. So Osborne pretty crucial to that setup.
Kicked 14 last year, up to 15 so far this year.
That's probably the deliberate behind rule that gets a bit lost there, doesn't it? Osborne was going forward so he could throw his boot at it. The St Kilda defenders couldn't really kick it forward otherwise.
I like the rule.
Yeah, I think it's a good rule, but that was an occasion where the forward had the advantage of being able to throw a boot at it.
Yep.
Such a big part of that premiership year. Down to you, Tim.
Well, further to what Tom was saying, then Osborne and Lewis, who are playing those defensive roles, are trying to drag both Fisher and also Gilbert deep at every opportunity to stop that half-back run.
Gee, Stephen's done well here. Backed it up. They've been slipping and sliding in this spot all night. Handball out by Schneider. Goddard's handball out. Dempster high tackle on Mitchell. And then Schneider got down low very well. Over the top, Renouf, and then Mitchell as well.
Okay, up there, guys. French when you can, thanks.
Good effort by Jack Stephen here.
Hey, Sean. Straight back here, guys. Straight back.
Do you fancy, Tom, that Dawson's got the run to be able to chase Franklin around the middle of the ground?
No, I don't. I mean, he'll obviously let him go. But as I said earlier, I'm not sure whether Dawson's the player you want as your quarterback from St Kilda.
Rioli won the initial ball. Mitchell, the advantage. Ellis gives it back to Birchall. Such an important player for them, running off half-back. Skipper taken down. Taken across the line by Ellis.
I guess it's going to be really interesting to watch, even just from the commentary box here, watch Dawson Zach Dawson's eyes as he pans the field for Franklin, how he actually makes those defensive structural decisions.
Renoff got it down to Rioli. Rioli immediately attracts a crowd. On his knees, Montagna. Going after the football is McEvoy. And that ball is wedged in there, and the umpire lets them play. Come on.
We think we're playing with a footy, we're just not sure where it is. I think it's under that 10 players there.
And we need to know, Lee, don't we?
We'd like to know where the footy was a bit more often.
Maybe we put a rattle in it.
I think so.
There's the bounce, about 75 metres out from goal then. Hodge onto the loose ball. Montagna, though, won the duel. Hayes inside the forward 50. Hadler's bounce. Obligingly for the man coming up, Stratton. We really like him. Emerging player. They need a quality tall defender, and this young man, as Bruce said, becoming a regular in the team, could fit the bill.
He's been good, hasn't he? 46 in the draft, and he's been a bonus in his first year. Mitchell hacks it forward. Dawson, I think he wanted the boundary line. He'll want it now. Gets it back. Franklin takes on Hayes inside. Mitchell wanted to use Franklin. Wilt was terrific. Buddy, one hand strength, but it just rolls away from Saul. Just you could see the Saints are so keen to deny Franklin some space here, aren't they?
Yeah.
It was almost a sign of things to come there when you saw Buddy. He had the left foot. We just see it here.
He's in scoring range on the centre wing.
Well, there was no one to kick to, hence the indecision from both Mitchell and Franklin.
Renoff over the back, Gardner.
Nick Del Santo's being held. Nick Del Santo being held. Nick Del Santo.
I think Cyril Rioli was probably thinking he was going to get a free there, but there was an early one, and now they switched. They've done this successfully.
Bateman just an observer there. Now a real opportunity for Fisher. Runs to the 50. Long kick to the square. Kaczynski again. He's already kicked two, the big fella. Well, some adverse press might have pressed the right button.
We spoke about the Hawthorn forwards playing a defensive role. I'm not sure Alistair Clarkson would have been too rapt to see Sam Fisher out in about 100 metre space.
And he comes, gets the goal. He's on Mark Lacroix pace.
Yes, that Sam Fisher release. I think there would be a Hawthorn player thinking to himself, did I not go when I should have gone? But to actually just get clear on the open side of the centre square, I mean, he looked like he was going to pot the goal himself, Fisher, but that was a... but Kaczynski, he's had a really good start.
He started well.
Tim?
Round free, about to kick the ball to Kaczynski. Lewis actually thought the free kick was to Hawthorn, so he turned around and ran toward goals and wasn't looking back at the play. Didn't see that it had been actually awarded to a St Kilda player.
That was a Rioli one, so Mitchell hacks it forward. Osborne and Gwilt. Gwilt, was a kicking in danger? No. Then Osborne brought down. Terrific tackle, Fisher.
Chance, mate. No chance.
There's some real venom in that tackle.
Just back to Cozzy for one moment. 3 goals equals his season high. Best effort ever against the Hawks. So he's off to a fly. It was revealed during the week that he'd signed for 2 more years. That had been a done deal earlier in the year.
He's really been struggling. I think he's been goalless 4 times this year, and that's only the 5th time he's got past single figures. So he's certainly been struggling. So good confidence booster for him to get on the board.
I also like the fact that it has been revealed that he's signed. Shows some real solidarity from the powers that be at St Kilda.
G. Hayes took that well and gets it to Dempster. And again, they try and create some run. This time, this side, but it's cut off.
Birchall intercepting the Blake kick, comes in short. Whitecross has got it about 75 metres from goal. Kicks inside the forward 50, rising high, rough head.
Push out, Zach Dawson.
Zach Dawson's going to get the free. It'll be against Frank.
Blew the whistle twice.
Against Franklin.
Blew the whistle twice, Lance.
Just doing a
You just
little
pushed
eavesdropping.
Zach Dawson straight into the contest.
I think that was very hopeful. I reckon even if it was Hawthorn's free kick, I don't think it would have been an advantage.
I don't think it's a great defence either. He pushed himself.
He pushed himself. Yeah. That was brilliant.
Well, watching the replay, you've only got to dust him for Prince. Two big hands. Both of them buddies right in the middle of the back. Kick inside the full at 50. Revolt. Classic revolt. Up he comes and grabs it 55 metres out.
That's a great sight for footy fans.
They've sent Gibson back to Gosicki by the look of it and Gillum up to Rewalt.
Well, revolt.
Interesting move.
Kosicki has come on a searching lead, virtually standing behind the man on the mark, so no tall target really, although Gardner gets in the frame, got hands to it. Bateman slipped over, putting the body in Del Santo, over the football Brown, picked up by Sewell, close quarters, gave it across to Bateman. Now Bateman just peels off the pack, pulls it back, does nicely, taken by Roughhead. There's a man down for the Saints inside the 50, very slow to get up. Meantime, Roughhead, not concerned with that, goes short to Birchall, who grew up a mad Saints supporter. That's still Santo who's down. You can see the nose.
It's a red towel, I think we should probably say.
I was just going to say the same thing, although I'm not sure it's still a good result. Shouldn't laugh, but then again, I've got something in common with that man.
But really intrigued, we spoke about a few times already about what's going to go on with Franklin and Dawson, because he's so much in the middle of the ground, Franklin, that when they need someone to go forward, gave away that free kick before, but he's often, they look up and there's no target.
The obvious player is obviously Roughhead. He's got to play that anchor sort of midpoint, just it's 40 metres out from goal to give the forward marking target.
And there is Franklin in the frame after the Birchall kick.
But I think they may look at that again too, not just his nose.
See Osborne and Gilbert, the deepest players. Gardner, Renouf, Hayes puts the tackle on.
Holding the ball, you're trying to fend him off. Back, holding the ball. Made no effort. Xavier, clear it out.
So Hayes to Peak, getting some continuity in the Peak to the Saints. So Gwilt gets it from Hayes. Probing kick, Revolt, can't quite get in, that's a free kick against Murphy. Against Milne to Murphy. So
that's good effort.
Milne to get back, and then Hodge gets it from Whitecross, and that's a poor kick. He was trying to improvise there, had Mitchell wide, and Peak able to cut it off.
Brett Peak told to play on, left half back, high ball towards half forward. Saints with the numbers here. Murphy came, but wasn't really committed to the spoil. Dempster took the mark, plays on. McEvoy on the overlap. Revolt this time, tracks it out towards the 50. Brilliant gather, wheels around, centering kick. Too tall for Montagna, disted away by Murphy. Chance in front there for Gibson. Gibson plays on, advantages paid. Guerra the short pass, taken in midfield now by Bateman. Chance Bateman, loops a hand pass over the top. Here's Franklin. Tom picked him up. Nobody else did. Franklin lines up. What a wonderful kick. Oh, Tom Harley, you're a genius.
I'll tell you who didn't read the situation well, and that was Brett Peak. I think everyone at the stadium knew Buddy was going to stop, drop and swing back on his left foot. But, oh, geez, we've seen Nick Dalsano.
That's a bloody nose, isn't it? That's...
And all sorts. But Peak obviously just saw Buddy swing round, thought he would swing on his right foot, but that was never going to happen.
You have to force him wide, don't you?
You have to.
I mean, you know that he's just got that long left foot kick, but he just really turned left and against a pack of players.
And we saw Buddy.
Look, there was players on his left, but they just all over-committed to the right, didn't they?
Yep.
Geez, he can kick the ball, though, can't he?
Again, it raises the point as to what you do when Buddy does push that far up the ground.
And Hodge had won the free kick earlier at half-back, so Burgoyne to Brown, to half-forward, worked to the front, couldn't hold it, Lewis. This is going to be a pivotal duel, isn't it? Fisher and Lewis, and Montagna gave it back to Fisher. Or Gilbert, manhandled left, right and centre.
No poetry. Put his head into the ground. He put his head in the ground against you, Sam. No need to push his head into the ground. Play on.
So Montagna. So ball up, turns into a free kick. Wide to Schneider. Back inside to Graham. Almost tucked it under the arm. Then goes high and hard. Revolt sets himself. Skipper got across in front. Milne belts it back. Skipper's little give. Guerra. They'll work it out. Gibson. Burgoyne stops and props. Back to Gibson.
Gibson sweeping hand pass outside the 50. Ellis just takes some of the heat out of it. Goes back to Bateman. Burgoyne is at right half back. Cruising past is Ellis. Slips away this time. Short one is on. Too tall for Franklin. Waiting behind Hayes. McEvoy, the big fellow, went down and found it. Back towards Hayes. Runs on to Gwilt. Gets away from Hodge. No mean feet. And then pops it to McWalter, who controls it down to his chest. Now he kicks down towards Revolt and finds him. Brown appeared to slip slightly. Now watch this again where Nick Del Santo, that is, did the nose rather.
A little bit of square up.
He's right on it, Nick, right on it.
So Revolt directly in front.
We've had 20.
That was great play by Stephen Milne.
Should kick it. And they come out firing. The big guns on the forward line for the Saints. Kazitzi has got 3. Revolt's got 1.
It was all the result, really, with the turnover from that errant kick to Franklin. When Ellis, Gibson ran the ball out, gave to Ellis. He kicked it over Franklin's head. Well, Gibson then, by that stage, was 50 metres from Riewoldt. And when the ball come flying back, well, Brown tried to cover, but Riewoldt v Campbell Brown. Riewoldt's just too big, reads the ball too well.
He's starting to look pretty good, Nick, moving his way around the forward line really well.
The wrong matchup. He tried to cover in Campbell Brown, but he really wasn't able to defend it. Back to goal.
Slipped again. I guess once
Gibson got caught upfield.
It's that classic case when you're caught between looking at your direct opponent and the ball, and Campbell Brown just got it wrong on that occasion.
So they've got the 4 goals, the big guys. They kicked 126 between them last year. Revolt and Kazitsky. Hayes getting forward. Murphy, Gibson under pressure. And then Guerra and Gillam to Ellis. Very short. Looked about 10 metres, didn't it? So Ellis. Hodge caught underneath. Free kick. Graham was in the box seat, but Hodge was able to almost seduce the free kick out of him there.
You can see this on the screen there. There's not much to go to, so long down the line.
It's exactly what he's done. He's hoping that Roughhead can get into the contest, and he couldn't really.
For big parts of this early part of the game, Hodge has actually been matched up directly against Hayes. They're 2 really good quality midfield organisers.
Just see the work being done on Nick Del Santo.
Won't be breathing too well from now on, I don't think.
Hodge's handball. Burgoyne back to Hodge. Saul barging and crashing. Gee, that was a good tackle. Terrific stuff by Graham.
Aren't players fantastic at just getting their hands clear in the tackle? I mean, the tackles just get stuck so well, but the ability to just push a couple of arms away from your body to get a handball in.
McEvoy reaches over the top. Went looking for Hayes. On the free kick.
Sorry, Sam, you 2 pointed wrong way.
Hang on, the umpire's pointed the wrong way. He's apologised. And that's fair enough. Mitchell wanting to get on with it. Spears a pass into Roughhead. He's taken the mark. We saw Nick Del Santo moments ago. Some wadding going into that nose. Reminiscent really of Chris Judd a couple of seasons back on Friday Night Football when he was trussed up.
But a lot of talk about Roughhead's kicking action. Will he run and kick through the footy?
He's got 1 already. Important kick, and always had it on the narrow side. Misses. So the margin is 5 points, and we saw these Saints last week doing a game for Radio, Lee. They're playing with a lot more energy tonight, and dare I say it, they're attacking the game a lot more. They're taking it on.
Good quality game, isn't it, actually? They're 2 teams in form, really top 4 teams. Both of them, I would have thought, both playing well.
Kicking a bit straighter too, aren't they? Montagna to centre wing. Well, they were 6-16 at the end of that match last week.
Hands on it.
I think you're right. I think the Saints' attacking flow has been built on the back of their defensive work. Their tackling numbers actually it's a significant one. They're up to 24 already. They only had 54 last week, which is a sure sign, I should say, that their intent is there tonight. Clearly a message driven by Ross Lyon and the coaching staff this week.
Doesn't matter. I know accidental, but you end up getting in the back.
It's been busy, Mitchell.
Has been good.
It was your knees, Nick.
A couple of times we've seen Gardner and McEvoy doing ruck work against. So that time Skipper, so a dual effort there. Now here is Skipper. He can kick the ball a long way. He's just poked that up, and Goddard's come across and taken the mark. And then Goddard's got Stephen wide.
Getting space on that side of the ground from the corridor, taken by Stephen. Into the path of Ray. Needs to go, did pretty well in a tight situation. So too did the man coming up at him, though. That was Ellis. Diving in there is Brown, laying a tackle on Gilbert. And the umpire is going to pay a free kick.
It's almost a win for Hawthorn, wasn't it? They had the extra number, St Kilda, but good play. Wasn't Gillam at ground level. Kept the ball in the area till help arrived.
Umpire didn't pay a free kick. I thought he was pointing, but he just wanted the football. Now he's paying a free kick, and Gardner's got it. Gardner on the wing, running down towards quarter time. Work that out. Meantime, Jones has got it. Hand passes across to the run of Montagna, who kicks inside the forward 50. Big leap down there, not paid. Murphy over the top. Gibson comes away, kicks to the outer side with precision, and finds Skipper.
Looked like it stuck then, that mark, didn't it?
It was Revolt and his Franklin. Actually, Nick's looked pretty good so far.
Yeah, yes.
So's Gibson. That's been a really good contest.
Remarkable. They both missed exactly the same number of games with their hamstrings, playing on one another tonight. Kick to half forward. Saul attacked it and then releases it to Hodge on his wrong side. Good smother Hayes. And then Bateman had to go against the tide. Schneider, little give, and then gets it back from Hayes. They've worked it all right here. Dempster goes backwards. Fisher sets up. Goddard, good guy to have the ball. And then Ray. Saints trying to run it forward. Back to Goddard. And then Goddard's handball. Gave Schneider a task. Back it goes. Dempster, can he find a target? Out wide. Kazitsky's been a star in the opening term, but he lumbered there. Might get a second crack. High tackle.
50 to the knee. 50, come with me. Justin, you've got to be very careful with your knees once I play a free kick, mate, okay?
Got to say, if Cozzy hadn't kicked 3, and that was the first thing he'd done all day, you'd say he was really out of form.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was probably a mark to Rewald, but lumbering was the correct word, I think, once the ball hit the ground there.
He was like a man sort of wading through water, wasn't he? He'd had enough, I reckon. He's pretty tired.
Off the coast of Florida right now.
Ah, yes. Slick. Fisher goes back to the pocket. Goddard. Short one. Oh! With 3 seconds remaining in the term, he kicked it directly to the worst man possible.
He had the courage. He was prepared to go back into the centre corridor, but if you miss it, you're in trouble.
He's one of the players that you don't mind, I guess, making a mistake like that, because he has the ability to pull that kick off, and I'm sure Ross Lyon wouldn't take him the task over that one.
Hawks haven't led so far tonight on Friday Night Football, but here's their chance after the siren. Rioli makes Goddard in the Saints pay, kicks from 50, scores a goal. Hawks lead by a point. Friday Night Football, Hawthorn 4-1, St Kilda 4 straight. Just the start we wanted. This game has opened up brilliantly. Stick around. That's what you call courage, coming back to the scene of the crime. Still, I'm sure visions of Mark Lacroix down there getting his lazy 12. Nervous twitch for the Essendon coach. Play restarts then. Second term. Friday Night Football. Goddard got it from Hayes. Comes to Gardner. Slipping there Montagna. Now he's hurt himself, Montagna. He's trying to get up. He got up gingerly. Meantime, Hawthorn go forward. Inside the 50. Tumbling back. Blake took the mark. Hand passes to Dawson. Now Montagna's okay. A trainer is with him as Fisher goes across the ground to the outer side. Del Santo, I think it was more his groin than his knee as the kick comes inside the centre square. Coming up the middle, Kazitsky dragged down. Loose ball slapped on by Ellis, taken by Mitchell. Birchall did well. In trouble, Franklin. Out of trouble, Franklin. Goes to Roughhead, back to Mitchell. Jones got him. Still the hand pass was effective. Murphy, they're under pressure. Roughhead comes back. Sewell, Guerra. Now they find some space. Stratton
It's like ping-pong footy, wasn't it? Mitchell goes on his hands and knees, sweeps it to Rioli. Rioli's mind ticking over, and he sees a bloke 40 metres away and laces it out to him. It's Young.
Well, he was identified, Clinton Young. We just see here, Lee Montagna was getting a lot of work done on his hamstring at quarter time. And in the first instances of the quarter, slipped pretty aggressively. And looks like he almost sort of shifted through his groins, I reckon, Dennis. I reckon you're on the mark there. So we'll just watch his progress as the quarter unfolds.
Young kicked a career-high 3 goals last week. That's Dead-Eye Dick. They're kicking straight, and they lead by 7 points.
Certainly, I mean, it's one of the surface is certainly slippery enough that players are actually just losing their footing.
Yep.
But partly, players have to learn how hard you can push.
Yeah.
I mean, basically, you've got to play to the surface a little bit, and the surface certainly is soft enough that if you try to push too hard, well, you might not keep your footing. But Rioli, when you've got a forward that's a little bit free in there, you'll find him. See the slip again, just didn't quite hold.
That's the worry. I think it's the groins there as well. And we saw Sam Mitchell have a pretty crucial slip as well. So I think there is a lot to the point that perhaps you've got to be aware of that as you're attacking the footy and know what surface you're playing on.
Out of the middle, it's Hodge this time with a right boot. Good mark taken by Dempster.
That's a mark. Field out, play
And
on.
Lee highlighting the fact that Young is such an important player prior to the game for the Hawks. Reminds me of a left-footed Michael Aish a bit with that sort of strange run and the hunched shoulders.
Brent, that's it, Brent, that's it.
Now, he was a player, Bruce.
Sure was, Norwood.
Okay, moving on.
He and his brother and his father before him, Dennis.
Schneider out of defence, the high ball towards the interchange gates, and there's the man who's just running into form. You can sense it. Revolt, well, it's in stages. Kicked it to Sewell, Renoff, Lewis. Roughhead, not his best delivery. It was a rather wayward kick, but it was only going over a short distance, and the mark was taken by Roughhead. He made it look comfortable enough.
We don't have a go at this. At his first shot at goal, he had a much better, more forward momentum approach. Let's see how he does this one.
Going at his second Roughhead. This to stretch the lead to 13 points, and that's a beautiful kick. Hit the post a long way up. So the margin is 8 points.
17-23 from set shots this year, Ruffy.
Yeah, hit that well up. That was a good kicking action.
That's a point that might give him confidence. Stratton out of the
On there, Jordan.
air.
I mean, yeah, hit the post, but he actually struck it well from long distance, had got really good contact through the footy.
Do you feel like we're seeing a bit of a change in this game, Hawthorn?
7 of the last 9 scoring shots of the Hawks. This is a big story here. Nick Revolt is almost there, isn't he?
Yep.
Murphy to Saul. He's been active, Saul, hasn't he, after that reprieve? Gibson, Stratton, now Rioli. Lovely dummy, and then pokes it forward. He just waited for it too long then, Young. Ruffy's onto it. Beautifully done. And then Birchall just couldn't get the right angle. He wanted his left foot so badly. And he got all the angles mixed up. Not sure what he's like at geometry early on, but Young had to go here, didn't he?
He really did. You can't. Cardinals seem to sit back. Terrific kick in from Surioli. The shot from Roughhead was from a similar sort of pass from Jordan Lewis. So the Hawks not blazing away to the St Kilda numbers, really assessing their options.
I venture to say Pythagoras and Birchall are strangers. There's a free kick, and it's going to Milne on the outer side. Birchall playing his 101st game. So important to the Hawks, and he's polled Brownlow votes in just 1 game. It was a 2. That's it. A career. Oh, Franklin coming back hard, collided with a teammate. Don't tell me that's Lewis down again. Meantime, Young's over the football. Sewell into the path of Mitchell. He was gang bumped, if there's such a thing. Blake's got the football, got it from Hayes over the top. Nicely half volleyed by Gardner. Supple hands. Goes across in turn to Del Santo, finds Young. Now they're running the Saints. This is Gwilt. Probing kick inside the forward 50. Well, we've seen it coming.
Control it to ground.
I think he controlled that to ground, as the umpire said. I think there was another couple that he certainly controlled in the air, but just didn't get paid.
I reckon that last one may have been where his hands had actually been knocked from the football, but it wasn't paid. This one a beauty.
Just watch that there. Nick Revolt just signals out to the left. Josh Gibson obviously tracking his eyes with the football. Sorry, tracking the ball with his eyes.
High reach when he jumps and leaps.
And he's just asked the St Kilda player to kick the ball to a space, and he's been looming large the last couple of minutes.
Third game since missing 11 from round 3, and I think it's fair to say St Nick is back.
Yes, there's different marks in the column, and I don't know if marks mean much. If you're 50 metres, 15 metres on your own, it's nothing. But this mark, the handful of marks, the genuine pack contested mark, the long ball comes forward, and then the genuine jump on it. They're worth their weight, aren't they?
It's the highest point stuff with Nick Riewoldt. He's 6'5" in the old, but when he puts his arms up, he feels about 10 foot tall and launches at it. One of the great sights in AFL football.
Stevie Milne there on screen. They had a quiet week last week. Just the one kick. We saw that in that second term just a moment ago. Just the one tackle too. Tom Murphy's playing on him, doing a good job. A much improved player, Tom Murphy. In fact, the whole back line of Hawthorn has improved dramatically over the last 9 weeks.
3 contested marks for Riewoldt tonight.
Could have been 5.
Jones caught up. Jim Mitchell been so busy with Saul.
It's really exciting. I mean, that's a buy story, I guess, in itself, the way Nick Riewoldt's moving around. And not just the moving, the fact he's launching at the ball and taking it the highest point.
Terrific height advantage over Gibson. Rioli, well done. Burgoyne back to Rioli. It was a hot footy though. Goddard was good there. And now Jones, and then Graham and Jones, and they work back to Blake, who just had to go the wrong way for a moment. Graham, Franklin can't get to him. Careful kick. Here is Milne, who Tim talked about a moment ago.
That's it gone. Hold it there.
Decides an up and under. Kicks to half. Well, Gardner launches. Riewoldt in the front spot. Brown, Murphy tried to work his way through the traffic and now gets it to Hodge.
Hodge close to the boundary line. That was ambitious on the bounce. Stratton had nowhere to go.
What we're seeing from St Kilda at the moment is, which we haven't seen in the absence of Nick Riewoldt, was the bailout option. It's sort of seen that they've been trying to go round the arc, over possessing the ball, but they've got real confidence in their captain. They can kick the ball down the line into a contest, and he'll provide that contest.
Gardner and Skipper, third man up. In from the side there was Ellis. I think it may have been Gardner's knock in the end. Brown dragged down by Graham.
He's trying and no chance.
Just get the feeling sometimes you can almost tell when teams arrive at the ground and they're prepared to pay the price, and both these teams give that impression. They understand that this could be a real battle tonight, a real slog, and both seem up for it. Neither ruckman touched the ball, neither was up. Hand pass forward, that time from Hodge. Back goes Graham. Sock as it was pushed in the back. As it was, advantage could have been paid, but it's coming back to Graham. Normally such a reliable and good kick. Fisher is on in the middle. This kick short of Fisher. Dempster changes the angle, runs through midfield, gets himself into trouble. That was terrible. No awareness. Run down. Whoa! Oh, he's getting a free kick.
It's a surefire way to make yourself unpopular.
In the back.
Yes.
So Dempster to half forward. Riewoldt again in the frame. And now Milne pouncing. Wants to give it off. He missed Kosicki completely. I think he had 2 thoughts there. I'd love to kick a specky goal, but I'd better do the right thing.
Interesting. Just watching Ross Lyon before, he's seen a lot of football. He knew that was holding the ball. He was very annoyed with Dempster, and suddenly, out of this, they got the ball.
What do you think, Lee?
Why is that not a push in the back?
I think he's alongside him, isn't he? I think he just dives as soon as he feels contact. But you're the champ. I dive back
We'll
off.
have a good look at it later, Dennis.
Winning an argument with Lee Matthews is impossible.
Rather go and talk to his statue when he's like that, wouldn't you?
Let's have a look. Does he look like he pushed him forward?
I reckon he's tripped.
Well,
I'm with Dennis.
all right. I'm with the umpire.
That's a mistake, Tom. As your attorney, I wouldn't do that.
That one's in the back.
Always give the benefit of the doubt to the bloke with the footy.
Yes,
That's
okay.
my view.
Yep.
So Saul goes long, roughhead the target, and now Lewis and Franklin are lurking. Oh, Buddy's in a good spot for him. tight as, and gave it a ride.
This is a really spacious game of footy. We often see, games where there's just a mass of players in one part of the ground, but for some reason, the players are spread over a big part of the field, which makes it a much, much better spectacle.
Yep.
So on St.Kilda in many respects, isn't it? Here's Ray. Maybe they decided the best way to shrug off the shackles of last week is to come out, all guns blazing. Gilbert around the outer side, chopped off by Skipper. He's agile for a big guy. Takes something off the kick down towards half forward. Dawson met solidly there by Guerra, falling to the ground. Burgoyne looked for Whitecross running out of space. Out of bounds.
Well, normally when you see a stoppage, I reckon you've probably got 24 players in the vicinity of the stoppage, and we probably have in this particular one. But there's been many stoppages where there's probably only been about 5 or 6 pairs.
Sellout crowd, maybe a record crowd. We'll wait for that figure. Montagna to peak, the high ball to midfield, lurking behind. Up in the air, missing the mark was Murphy. Opportunity now for Graham. Dashes through midfield. He got it from McWalter. Kicks inside the forward 50. Back goes Gillam. Did well, controlled it to his own advantage.
And then Murphy, under pressure, did pretty well in the end. A handball coming from Gibson. And then Brown, they've worked it well, the Hawks. Guerra, a former Saint, of course. Birchall to Lewis, back inside to Skipper. And then Skipper's neat kick to half forward. Osborne called roughie out. Osborne goes back to Lewis. And then Lewis, well, he was going to load it up. And then he was trying to thread the needle. And unfortunately for him, he found Gilbert. Just the third kick for Gilbert. He's had a quiet start.
Well, the Hawks have been great tonight, but the one area of the game that they haven't been able to do is take a mark against the St Kilda all-ground defence. They're only up to 19 when they've actually been a pretty dominant statistic for them in the last couple of months.
Del Santo got it from Revolt. Now Hayes jabs it just beyond the wing. Dempster. Kazitsky's on the move, not required, as Dempster goes back towards the middle, finds Ray. Running hard, deep in attack is Peake. Will he go to Peake? I think he might. Out in front of Peake. It bounces outside the 50. Came back towards Peake. Very slippery out there. Lewis went to ground after Peake slipped over. And Stratton is pushed across the boundary line.
One thing about the marks tonight, I reckon, there hasn't been one cheap one.
No.
Like, not the crossfield cheap ones in the back half, which is why I think both teams are keeping their forwards in position so the opposition defence can't get those cheap crossfield ones.
Gardner wins the tap, and then Ray, slick handball. Del Santo on the right side for him, but he wasn't able to keep it in on the left.
Well, on that mark statistic, the Hawks in the last month in particular have been the best at restricting opposition marks. They keep their opposition to about 80 for a game. St Kilda are now pushing up to just over 50, 52. So it's probably one area of concern for Alistair Clarkson to cut down the uncontested marks for the Saints.
So Whitecross from Mitchell.
No, 15, play on.
So Guerra, long, Lewis just gave Fisher a little shove. Fisher held his ground. Boundary throw in centre wing. Goals hard to get in the second quarter. Had 8 in the opening term, just a couple so far. Young got the first for the Hawks, and Revolt got his second in this quarter for the Saints.
Gardner wins it down, intended for Ray, knocked away by Rioli, tackled by Montagna, play-on's the call. Oh. Late whistle.
Cyril Rioli, sorry. Pointed the wrong way, Cyril. No, he actually had him around the neck in the end.
Rioli with the ball hard against the boundary line. I think it was there. Had it not been, he was in desperate trouble. Kicks it up towards half forward in front. Dawson, is there 50? Yes, there is against Franklin. There's another 50.
Knocked the ball over his head.
Oh, dear.
That'll be 100 metre.
Yep. Now that's a massive win for St Kilda. That was great play by Zach Dawson. Read the cues off the boot to take the mark, but wouldn't have banked on getting 100 metres.
I think he said 3 50s. Did he say?
2, I think.
That's
2 50s.
2 50s.
Well, that's silly. The second one.
Mate, got
Not
it
sure
here.
about the first.
Not going to run that 100 metres in under 10 seconds, I don't think.
Buy some real estate off it, though.
Well, exactly, Hussein Bolt. He gave up about halfway through the 100. Here's Dawson. He kicks from 35 and gets it. Another lead change. Saints back in front. They lead by 3.
Well, We talk about 50-metre penalties, but when you have two 50-metre penalties, well, that's an automatic shot at goal, isn't it? And pushing the back, that's certainly one. Bit upset, knocks the ball out of his hands. It's just sloppy, undisciplined play, but big penalty.
Yeah, it is. He obviously just wanted to put a body on him somehow, and he just got the wrong angle, flicked the ball out, and Zach will probably text him about it during the week.
So they run out to Buddy. Dawson's only kicked 3 goals in his career. I remember another one against Carlton very late in the match.
Yes,
the other in the ground when he basically sold the game for them, but doesn't get many chances. He played 14 games, of course, for the Hawks over 4 seasons. It took him a long time to get to 14.
In the back. Sam Mitchell. Same free, yep, same free. Sam Mitchell's free kick. He paid the hold from out there. Double free kick, Brendan.
Double.
So I think that means both umpires paid it. I think that's it, wasn't it?
It just gives us a 50, and one umpire will do. Here's Franklin. It's a free kick.
Free kick.
A lot of whistles going.
Holding. Just here. Yeah, no, he's holding him, then landing his back as well, Lenny. Just here, okay. Yeah, and it is going both ways. Time back on. Well done there, Zach.
They're hard calls, aren't they? I mean, both of them flat out of the ball.
Yeah.
It was a great contest.
So can Franklin, after giving the free away to give the lead to the Saints, get it back? You betcha. Bang he goes. Alistair Clarkson will be a lot happy with Buddy right now.
Well, this will be an interesting conversation now, won't it? It's sort of like our Clarkson say, Buddy, about those 100-metre penalty, but great goal.
I reckon Buddy ran a lot quicker than he would have 5 minutes ago to see how, don't you?
He's going to wander from the interchange bench. I think let everyone cool down before you go back. Yeah. Slight grab with the right arm, but not a whole lot in that. But isn't it poetry when he actually kicks through the ball from the 50-metre line?
Well, Tom, I've got to ask you the question. You're a defender. Would you have been unhappy having a free kick like that paid against you? Yeah,
you certainly would have been. There was just a minor, I guess, incidental contact with the arm. It was a terrific effort from Zach Dawson. No doubt he'd be disappointed.
What a finish, though, by Franklin. A kick with conscience. Hand pass comes from Hayes. Peak out of the middle. Scrambles it forward. Ricochets, though, took a lucky deflection. Came to Ellis. He goes to Young. Not so lucky. Taken down by Dempster. And the umpire will ball it up forward of the wing on the outer side.
Now, that is great. He's just given away a 100-metre penalty, then kicked a ripping goal from 55. What does he say?
That's why coaches are on the interchange bench currently, so they can give that kind of feedback.
On the outer side, pushing up is Renoff. Runs to the 50. Long ball. Lewis goes back. With him is Fisher. Fisher hooks it across the line.
And on that on-ground coaching, I guess, by being down there, you can have the face-to-face,
absolutely.
The touch and feel, whereas if you get caught up, you lose, I guess, that relationship-based from a phone call.
Particularly that phone, the players puffing, that's... There's great value in what just evolved in this last couple of months. Coaches down in interchange.
Who would have thought 15 years ago we'd see Alistair Clarkson counselling on tranquility?
It's a good point. He's been a feisty guy all his life, hasn't he, Al? Free kick too high.
Doesn't matter. He's the one putting his head over the ball. Third out.
So Young. Again, the Hawks just with the edge at the moment after the Saints have got the lead back. Young loads it up. Osborne couldn't get a run at it. Dawson held him up. Roughhead's handball missed the first target. They all slip over. Who can hold his feet? Whitecross's little handball under pressure. Gwilt's in there and going to ground. Now Whitecross did well. Brought down by Stephen. Ball still in dispute. Ellis is there. Ball up down to 10.
I told one of the Saints officials before the game, they reckon the ground's in the best condition it's been all year, but most of the players out there have been noticing as they've walked past down here on ground level, they still are wearing the moulded sole boots, and we are seeing a lot of slipping tonight.
Del Santo bleeding. Active bleeding, Brendan.
Active bleeding. So Nick Del Santo is off the ground. Popped that from a wayward arm from Campbell Brown.
It's going to be a problem all night, you'd think, to stop that bleeding. That was obviously a severe blow.
Just on the surface, I think it's fair to say it looks good and the players need to adjust to the playing conditions, but for mine as a player, it's not good enough. You should be able to go out there and make decisions at a high-tempo game, cut and change as you do, especially through the midfield of the ground. Not up to standard.
Just wonder what somebody like Ashton Kutcher makes of this game. You'd be wrapped, wouldn't you? That's why Americans love our game. The world loves our game. If only we could expose it more. From half-back, Wade drives it towards the outer side. Campbell-Brown just waiting. Runs forward of the wing, kicks inside the forward 50. He'll direct it. Oh! Dawson with Franklin bearing down. I think Buddy was quite prepared that time to give up a 50.
Be very careful. Don't go near him or you'll get it reversed, OK?
Don't go near him.
Like contact, it was just late. That's why it's 50.
Well, I think that Zach Dawson knows now he's not playing on any old buddy. Ball comes towards the middle. To ground went Gardner. Hodge, Birchall, Hodge again.
Very short to Lewis. And called to play on Lewis. Back to Hodge. And then Hodge just held up. Does well. Gets it to Lewis. He just didn't panic, did he? And now Guerra. Back he goes. Ellis. So many left footers. We've known that for a while with them, but 4 in a row there. Skipper another one in a boundary throw, in a Renifort rather, I should say. To tackle on Hodge. Just didn't panic. Was able to win the ball back. Schneider putting the tackle on.
Just saw the contested possession stat. Hawthorn love playing in contested situations.
Big fist over the top from Gardner into the path of McWalter. Touched on him before the game. He needs to fire. Gillam goes back with courage. Bearing down was Revolt. Loose ball close to the line. Gibson, Gillam, Stratton. Advantage is paid. Well, not going on his left side. It was initially Birchall. He was forced to his right, so there was no advantage there from what we'd seen earlier. Oh, Kazetsky came in strongly. Really stuck it to Mitchell. A little clumsy coming over the top as well. Mitchell's having a bit to say. Now the umpire says the ball's out of bounds. Oh, he ducked into that apparently.
Well, that'll be a free kick every day of the week. Jones to Peak. Revolt and Gibson. Poor handball. Stratton. Well, it was a good play by Stratton. He had half a chance and he took it and got the ball out. And then Young wants his left side. Dempster tries to corral him. Young doesn't have to panic, and then he can float one to centre wing. Osborne, good in a contest like this, Osborne. Plays tall. Boundary throw in.
It's been a good win for the Hawks, I reckon, that one. Just see a quick boot change from Hawthorn. We'll keep an eye out on who that is. But Osborne doing the job on Sam Gilbert at the moment. He's only had the 5 possessions, so a big win for the Hawks.
Spoke to Brad Johnson before the game. He said he always wears the boots with the studs when he plays at Etihad under any conditions.
I was exactly the same. Particularly playing in the back line, a slip's just too crucial, and you just had to unfortunately put up with the fact you're probably going to have sore feet for a couple of days afterwards.
Now, Lee, you might be able to help me with this. I saw Matthew Pavlich at the airport today, and he said the rules committee were coming along as a group. You're a member of that, but obviously you're working with us tonight, but they were going to watch the game together.
That was correct. Just have a look at footy, just have a look at the game. Wheels Review Committee will meet in a few weeks. First time for the year.
This is something of a rare game, this one. It's a little bit different. Wonder what they'll learn. Roughhead slips it away to Gibson. Terrific game so far, this one, with the intensity of a final. Kick comes out of defence from Gibson. Getting back is Gwilt, aided by Dawson Shepherd. Beautiful centering kick. Goddard's got it. Thought about going to Jones. Well, no margin for error initially. Went short of the Ray. Now he finds Jones freed up. Kicks inside the forward 50. Behind the pack, a chance for Milne. Loves that situation. Picked his opponent's pocket. And he was up against a very good player in Rioli. Made him look pedestrian. Kicked the goal.
You certainly called it, Dennis. There's very few occasions when you see Rioli out-footed.
2-on-1 there. We just saw, I think it was Stratton who was drawn to Nick Revolt, which is understandable because Stratton's a young player and Nick Revolt attracts so much attention, but left Milne at ground level. We know how dangerous he can be.
Again, it's attacking the goal front too, isn't it? The long kick forward, ball comes to ground, forward gets it, point blank range.
And we see there Murphy's the direct opponent from Milne, and it just shows the presence that Revolt has as a key forward. He's gone to help out in the air, left Milne unattended.
So Hodge to Renouf and then put Hodge under the pump. Twisting and turning Dempster.
Luke Hodge, trip. Luke Hodge will trip. Luke Hodge, trip.
So against Gilbert.
Kick to Luke Hodge up the ball. How
Yeah.
he find the foot?
He had over to 5 seconds, I reckon, but one umpire finally spotted it.
Yep.
See it in the backyard. There it is.
He actually gets a lot of frees for Hodge.
I
He's
tell you,
right up.
this is a fantastic game of footy. The way this game's been played tonight, nothing wrong with the game at all when you see it played like this it is tonight.
So Saul short.
I was just about to say the rules committee meeting today. The one thing they'll come out with is I think the game's in pretty good shape.
Well, this one is.
This one is, Dennis.
The game between Collingwood and St.Kilda, fair dinkum, every 36 players are in within about 25 metres of the footy most of the game.
So Milne again. A couple of big plays by Milne. I mean, to beat Rioli one-on-one is like beating Joe Hasham at poker, isn't it? I mean, he's just done Rioli over in a one-on-one. And now he's cut that off, Milne, going wide. Revolt worked underneath it. And then Jones on the up to Del Santo. Back to McEvoy. Got through a couple of fingers. Hayes and Revolt. And then Fisher off one step. And I think that's out on the full. Or is it a free kick?
Ball was out. Out on the full. Yep. It's out on the full. Your kick. Ball was over the lines.
So not against Stratton. It would have been in the back for Del Santo had the ball been in.
Well, Milne's game tonight has been a classic case of relishing the moment. He hasn't necessarily had the greatest games, but he's certainly played an integral part with some important passages of play individually.
Stratton around the outer side. Fisher juggled attempt. Hodge forcing a passage against one of his own right there. Picked up though by Hayes. Hayes little up and under. Barely 5 metres. Opportunity for Stratton once more. Did well to Hodge to Sewell. Now Franklin is centering. Kicking a beauty too. Ellis. Now Brown is on. Brown can run inside the 50 if he wants to. Had 2-on-1 to the middle. Should have gone to Young. Kick inside the forward 50. Osmond. Osmond takes a great mark.
Yeah, we were looking at Roughhead coming back from the flight, but he just stood under the football. Osmond whats it hard into his hands. Not in a good position, but that's a really good jump.
He's done it perfectly. He's worked the angle. He's given himself enough room just to get the elevation.
Interesting left foot across the body.
Takes a couple of steps and kicks it out of bounds on the foot. That's interesting, actually. I mean, to start his run-up, he actually goes off the line of the kick. Now, why isn't that play on?
Well, I think if you can start the right angles as long as you kick it on the line. That's the way I would get it. If he actually took a step over the line, well, then it's play on. But you see players do that from that angle quite regularly these days.
All the time, don't you? Schneider's got it after the short one from McEvoy.
You hope he kicks 10 out of 10 at training because it didn't look good, the end result, did it?
Yeah, but most of the time it works.
Roughhead certainly does it that way, so it seems to be the trendy thing to do.
So Renner for the back. Ellis. Saul had to search. Revolt. Down to you, Tim.
Well, Osborne's recognised by the Hawthorn players as just about their most accurate kick in the side. I don't think he was on that acute an angle that he actually needed to do what he just did then with his left foot.
Yeah, it wasn't like he was tucked up against the boundary line, was he?
Probably 45 degrees, wasn't it, really?
So Blake goes back.
Fine there, Sam.
Just thinking about the Hawks. Brisbane didn't kick a point against them for a long, long time. And the only point they got was rush last week.
Yeah.
Don't know what it means, but the Saints are up. Can you help me, Dennis?
You know better than that. Hayes up towards the wing. Bateman like a soccer goalie, full-chested. Threw himself to his right, took the mark.
If you kick straight, you've got more chance of winning. I think that's...
Great night to be at the footy. What a good game. Back to centre half, back in Gillum. Getting better and better, Gillum. Drives it from the defensive 50. Oh, Revolt almost knocks it away from skipper. It's out of bounds.
Saints have been absolutely fantastic that all night in restricting Hawthorn. Marks on you, the 29 so far for Hawthorn in the half.
So a throw in. Renouf and Gardner. Gardner reaches over the top brilliantly. Got it down to Jones. Not the 15. opportunity for Hayes. Does the heavy lifting right there. Montagna half chance. Mitchell does well. Birchall, Sewell. Back towards the middle. Burgoyne taken front on by McWalter. Crashing through the pack goes Mitchell. And we'll have a ball up.
Well, Clint Jones, I reckon 5 minutes ago he's on Hodge. Now he's on Burgoyne. I reckon I've seen him on 7 opponents. And we're not even a half time yet. He's getting giddy.
Goes to show they've got a few pretty good ones in the Hawthorn midfield.
I'm wondering who they plan to play him on pre-game, because I don't think they've got him to him yet.
Peak, belts forward. Revolt couldn't get into it.
Stephen Milne, hands in the back, against Stephen Milne. Against Stephen Milne, hands in the back, yours. Tom Murphy, hands in the back against Stephen Milne. Nick, back one, mate.
Murphy got the free kick, but that's fantastic work from Ben Stratton. Every time we see him play, he gets better and better, just makes really good defensive decisions in the air, which turns into attack.
Well, the Hawks led by a point at quarter time. The Saints look like leading by a couple at the long break.
Has to be 50. Has to be.
Well, maybe they won't lead at the long break. We saw the turnover from Goddard to Rioli at quarter time, and now Hawthorn with another late chance from sort of nothing here.
You just ignored the whistle. I clearly played it.
So Gillum, he doesn't know how long there is to go. They need a mark. Kicks to the pocket.
No!
He's gone.
You'd back him on the run from here.
Yeah, he did. Marked it all the way.
I think our cameraman's going to raise
in a great spot.
You guys have got the ball, all right?
What if it was the end of the game right now?
Line, or it's the end of the quarter.
Well, this will be interesting.
Buddy will run almost out of bounds here, won't he?
He loves this angle.
You're getting a good view at home, just as we are here. Can Buddy put them back in front? Check side. No. So the Saints lead it by a point. A fantastic first half. We've got a huge halftime show coming up. Buddy features along with Brad Johnson and Leon Acker. So halftime, Friday night, the Saints by a point over the Hawks.
Goddard on Bateman. Graham on Rioli. Some mismatches there in size at least. Start of the third term on Friday Night Football. Up very high was Gardner. Hooks it down into the path of Hayes. In trouble, Jones. Did not much about getting rid of the footy. Held to him, says the umpire.
Thank you. Jump off him. Thanks, Clint. Thanks, Clint.
So they set up again. Renoff, Gardner, Hayes, so that's his 20th disposal to equal Hodge as the high on the ground. Guerra held up in the handball. Murphy had to search and Revolt was quick onto it and then tried to burst his way through. Guerra read it best into that hot spot, which Hawthorn loved to do with the handball. And then Mitchell to Birchall to Rioli.
Play on, play on.
Rioli quickly into his move and then short to Burgoyne.
That's a mark.
Just the 3 kicks in the opening half, but he had 10 handballs and finds that man, Buddy.
He's thought about it too then, just about to take off, but second guessed. And what Hawthorn have been able to do is they've had the 26 inside 50s, which is on track for 52, which is a massive score against St Kilda.
It's interesting him going short there. Felt like he was almost within range, to be honest.
I thought we saw Collingwood do it last week against the St Kilda defence, make sure that they don't have any spare defenders. It's worked pretty well for Hawthorn. I mean, they're not in front, but they're not getting much bounce out of their back half, St Kilda tonight.
Goddard got it from Blake, goes short to the pocket, and Fisher.
Jordan. Hold it there.
So Fisher, left back pocket, inside up by a point. Sellout crowd, could be a record. Waiting on the final figure to come through. Gardner hands to it, couldn't hang on. Burgoyne at the front of the pack. Give him that much time, he'll kill you.
There's his value right there, Sean Burgoyne.
Whitecross has taken the mark about 35, 40 metres out, directly in front.
The best you could say is Whitecross was in front, but the kick just made it impossible for the St Kilda defender to actually get at the footy.
So he's up to 5 kicks now.
A lot of players blaze away in that situation. We've seen a few Hawthorn players tonight. Surioli, Jordan Lewis just lower the eyes and drop the short one in.
So, one of their not so bright stars comes in, and he shines right there as he puts it through the middle. Hawthorn back in front.
Just a clever setup, wasn't it, by Burgoyne here? Talked about the fact he could have blazed and decided to go very short and very low and very fast and gave the defence not a chance. Good finish. So another lead change here.
Just Sean Burgoyne's the player that's really just see him on screen now. He's up to 15 possessions. The last month or so, he's just creeping his possession tally up. And we saw with that one, just as the poise around the contest to drop the eyes and hit up wide cross. A real plus for the Hawks going forward in the finals.
Gardner went early then.
Straight back, guys.
So Stephen Baker and Stephen King. Saw Bakes just outside our commentary box before the match. Burgoyne again. Now Hodge gets almost within range. Buddy!
Clear it out. Jared, do not give it away.
Do you think Buddy ever had any thought of shepherding it through?
No.
I know he took the mark, and I guess it was an uncontested mark, but he was about a metre out from the goal line.
He's paid to kick the goals,
I
Lee.
suppose.
He's kicked 3. And Hawthorn pinch a break. Burgoyne, Hodge, Franklin.
No, there was no chance Buddy was going to let that one go through. It was a win-win for the Hawthorn supporters, though. They love Luke Hodge tearing out of the middle, and they love Buddy kicking the goal. So some ominous signs. We speak about a lot about the importance of clearances and really quick ones like this. Luke Hodge straight through the middle. Clinton Jones just caught up in the congestion. No doubt it was going through for a goal, but Buddy will take it.
Made a certainty of it.
Just watch the clearance work here from Luke Hodge. He just bursts his way through. Lost Clinton Jones. He's putting in the efforts there. Kicks it long into Franklin. Win-win for Hawk supporters. They love watching Buddy kick goals. They love watching Luke Hodge tear through the middle. Fantastic signs.
Nice little give by Burgoyne in there too. What about Buddy tonight? He's brought his A game, his B game, and his Y game. He's been all over the shop. Couple of 50s, and that's why everybody loves to see him play. Back in the middle. Gardner in a battle.
Jones is being blocked. Clinton Jones.
Off the ball. Jones to get the free.
Kick block off the ball.
Against Hodge. Well, why would Hodgie bother with that? Obviously fears Gardner's hands as the kick comes inside the forward 50, and that's a beautiful kick onto the chest of Revolt.
I think the answer to that, Dennis.
Yes.
Keep him away from his assigned opponent, probably trying to help out.
And it just typifies how much of a team player Luke Hodge is. He's a superstar in the midfield, but willing to do the team things.
Revolt going at his third then. Sharp angle, but not beyond it. This one working back left to right, but not enough. Misses to the near side. So the margin is 10 points, and just for the moment the Saints having a mini crisis here. They can't afford to allow the Hawks to get the next goal and maybe fall off the pace. The pace has been a cracker all night, and Young to bring it in.
Goes long, looking for Whitecross, and Goddard. Such a prodigious kick and an accurate one. Brilliant to Kazitsky. Feel like we're ground the clock back to the first quarter.
Well, that was the basic zoning setup. St Kilda zoned on the kick. One of the things, if you kick the ball, and you will see a great view of this when St Kilda.
No, it doesn't matter. He's in the play. Swap it over. Against your runner. Hand it over.
This is big.
Was that he's not meant to be anywhere near the play.
I think it was the St Kilda runner.
Let's wait for the action.
Wow.
That is a big turnover. That's worse than a couple of 50s from Buddy, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's when the coach probably prefers he was sitting down on the boundary line to have a chat.
Runners are expendable too.
You had a moment at the MCG, didn't you, Lou?
Yeah. 50-metre penalty against the physio one day. You know you're going to lose when that happens.
Physio that needed the physio after that, I would have thought.
As physios like to say, he can be stiff. Ball comes out towards the wing. Opportunity for Gilbert. Kicks inside the 50. Well, almost. It was a terrible kick, and the mark is taken by Brown. Defiantly goes back. Loves this situation. Ball in his hands. And then the spotlight. Side up by 10. Stratton. He's going to be a good player.
Sam Gilbert, we saw him turn over the ball. He hasn't had the same influence tonight, obviously, with the job that Osborne's doing on him on the St Kilda half-back line.
Gillam Little screen on the mark, but then the kick from Stratton. That wasn't very well thought out because Gillum came up, put the block on the man on the mark, but Stratton, a natural left footer, kicked with his right. Back to the drawing board on that one, boys. Here's Goddard across half-back, needs a driving kick, and he provides it. Gardner has to wait. Jones is breaking towards the outer side. Not required, at least initially. Now Gardner spots Blake in the middle. He was there for a while. Well worked. Goddard is a long kick. Not this time. Wow. Straight onto the chest of Schneider. Goddard 19 possessions now. And we're back where he was a couple of moments ago when he gave the football up, or the runner did more particularly.
I guess that's the route. You can understand if it's the opposition runner, but if it's your own runner runs through you, it's a bit like your own teammate running through. But I guess any runners near the play get penalised.
This time it's Schneider. Steps to the 50. Kick is on the way. Has it got the carry? I think so. Just creeps across the line. That's enough.
Well, they're taking their shots in Kilda, aren't they? 8 goals, 1. I don't think they've really been having that. A couple of close-in shots, but their ability to take their chances has been critical in the game. There hasn't been a whole lot of scoring shots. We were halfway through the third quarter. Hawthorn had 13 scoring shots and Kilda 9, so there's not a whole lot of scoring being done by either team.
It's great to see from both sides. Hodge down one end and Goddard down the other, just spearing the ball into the forward 50.
See Nick Del Santo on screen there. We know he got a heavy knock in the first quarter. He's had just 8 touches tonight, 50% efficiency too. He's been warned by Bateman. He's been escorting him to the bench. Most of those possessions have been under pressure. The Saints would love more from him in the second half.
They've all been kicks, which is an advantage, but they have been under the pump.
Play on!
Oh.
So Guerra was able to elude Milner, who hurt himself a bit there, Stevie.
Play on!
So Mitchell asked to go, then goes short to Young. Goddard on the mark, becoming a very, very influential player in this match, Goddard. So just having some trouble here, the Hawks, to penetrate. And then Young fell over as he kicked. Rioli picked it up brilliantly, leads back, and Buddy's on the end of it again.
Zach, one more. One more, Zach. Right there.
We'll get to see whether
He's going to do the across the body.
Does he kick a 4th goal? Buddy does. He's got 4, and the Hawks creep away again.
A little bit from that set kick when St Kilda was setting up a bit of a zoning situation where they think the ball might go. And when Young kicked it and slipped, basically all of a sudden the ball was going. No one knew it was where it was going. Rioli, of course, as we saw, read the kick, but it's kind of that broken play usually should suit the forwards.
And Franklin's taken 2 marks very close to the goal line, hasn't he?
Yeah.
His last 2 marks, he's been basically within a metre or 2 of the goals.
Good awareness there by Guerrero not to actually avoid the tackle.
more slips
There
again.
goes the slip, yeah.
It's going to be a big issue again.
Yep. Hawks by 10 points. Saints' biggest lead in the game. 12 points right at the start with the opening couple of goals. McEvoy, skipper comes at him. McEvoy does well. Hayes so busy. Well, that was interesting. It was Mitchell's arm that reefed the ball back in and finished.
Didn't drag it in, Sam Mitchell did.
Yeah, good call, umpire. Shouldn't sound surprised, but I tell you who'd be enjoying this. Ken Judge in Perth tonight. Battling illness. Ken, we're thinking of you. Your Hawks are up. Former Hawthorn coach and player. Over the football is Ellis. They all fall on him, and another ball up.
That was all right. Lean up.
Ben Stratton's actually playing on Mick Walter. Mick Walter in that last stoppage pushed up to the stoppage, and Stratton dropped back to fill the hole. This time Mick Walter's actually gone back with Stratton to make him accountable.
So Goddard down to Graham, and then Graham, he had peaked wide, but he kicked it very high. White Cross tries to make a contest, and he does. And then on hands and knees gets it back towards Guerra. Held his ground pretty well, and then Peak barges through. Clever handball to the running Graham, and then Graham inside to Schneider, who goes for a second and drills it home.
Great play. They really need to stay in touch here. It's amazing to think that they've kicked 9 goals 1 to 9 goals 5. So very accurate here. the contest spills out to Graham, and Schneider is one of those players. I guess those smaller St Kilda, I should say, forwards really have to make the Hawthorn defenders accountable. Schneider's one of those players you really need to respect around the goal. Doesn't need a hell of a lot of possession to do some scoreboard damage.
It's one of those games, I think, where the clearances are really critical because both sets of forwards are staying back with their defensive opponents. When you can run the ball from the clearances, there seems to be space to run it into. So there's not a hole. And that's see the Hawthorn forwards deep in on the right-hand side at this stoppage. They're defending by manning up the St Kilda defence.
Sewell at the base of that pack.
First line of defence is your forward line.
I was going to say, I reckon one of the turnarounds for Hawthorn season was when they've gone and opted against from the cluster and playing a more man-on-man game. It's brought the game back into a contested situation, which they've actually now become the best at over the past 2 months. So one of the pivotal turning points of the Hawthorn season.
Gardner hooks it down behind, bounced across to Burgoyne though. Well done by Ellis, releases Sewell. Sewell kicks inside the forward 50. Roughhead! Control plus.
Go back and kick it.
Well, I'd love to see this type of positional setup be more prevalent more often, because when it goes in, it's like conventional game of footy. Players are prepared to kick the ball in quick.
Roughhead. Oh dear. Misses to the left-hand side. So Hawthorn stretched their lead, but twice now in this term they've had it out to 10. They just haven't been able to fatten it up to 16.
A great look there at the Hawthorn structure. As Lee said, all the numbers up around the stoppage, but then had almost like a T formation for their forwards, each with enough space to work in a one-on-one with their direct St Kilda opponent.
So peak back from Hayes, and then Long, and Stratton was prominent there. 0-3 from set shots, Ruffy, tonight. 17-24 for the year.
Don't think he approached that with the conviction and the momentum in his forward movement that he did his first couple of shots at goal.
So a bit of blood around the mouth for Gardner. Skipper with him, Saul. And then Rioli looking for Roughhead.
Free kick.
So certainly marking it well, Roughhead. Presenting a target and going to his partner in crime in Buddy.
And what the Hawks have got at the moment,
Thank you.
they have 8 individual players who have taken a mark inside 50, so they've got plenty of options, making all their St Kilda defenders accountable.
Thanks, Mick.
So Gardner
St Kilda.
Yep. And down the other end of the ground, St Kilda have only had the 3 individual players. So the Hawthorn forward line not only very well structured, but also plenty of options.
As Gardner comes from the ground, and Buddy told Richo in the interview at half-time, this is where Gardner gets his lip open up. Buddy told Richo at half-time in the interview on the half-time show this was his favourite angle from a set shot.
Well, how often do we see him having the left foot to the boundary shot? He tends to fake pulls the board a little bit from right to left. That's his normal action.
It's not going to come back this time. Kicks to the top of the square. Saints had the numbers. It's a behind.
I mean, players do have their natural running patterns, and it appears that Buddy's tends to be that side of the ground.
Del Santo to bring it in then. Margin 6 points. Del Santo out of the square. Drives it short of the wing. Murphy from the side, virtually uncontested. Took the mark. Well, wanted to play on immediately. Goes to Brown. The old numerical attack. Buddy is up. Missed it. Fell to the ground. Opportunity for Lewis. Down he goes. Couldn't find a way through. In fact, it was Roughhead over the top. About 3 Saints just fell on him. And will have a ball up.
No, he didn't have a prior opportunity. Knocked out. Thanks, Lenny.
That might have been a free kick if you'd actually been able to have a look at that vision before the marking contest. Set.
Holding Sam Gilbert. Holding Sam Gilbert.
Gilbert gets a free kick. Picture of Buddy flying with 3. Wouldn't be the worst thing that Alistair Clarkson's seen tonight. 3 Saints up as Gwilt drives to the outer side. Now it goes against Guerra. Advantage is paid. Montagna. It was going to be a free kick to Kozetski. Montagna down towards the 50. Schneider looking to get in behind the defence. Was held without it. They battle close to the boundary line. It'll be a draw. Murphy and Schneider just roll out of bounds.
Played that well, Murphy.
He's played a free kick.
Played it very well, as it turns out.
Well, That was a very late whistle. I think he arrived at the scene of the incident and then paid a free kick, the umpire McBurney. Gillam's got it. Still, if the arm was high, the arm was high. Gillam, left half back.
Move it on. Play on.
Safety with a long kick. Renouf gets very high very early, and then Saul just couldn't quite control it. Hodge back to Whitecross, and then clever by Mitchell to Hodge, and then Hodge down the line and cut off by Blake. Interesting game right now, because it's been interesting all night, but Hawthorn have had Geelong beaten a couple of times this year. Couldn't quite finish him off. Feel like they're on top, but can they close the duel against a top 4 team? Haven't beaten a top 4 team this year, but you feel like it'll be a revealing night from this point on for them. Gwilt's kick's a beauty. And they can do the great escape, the Saints, can't they? We've seen them do that. Stephen back to Dempster. Advantage given. Graham loves to run and carry. Goes long and hard. Cozzy sets himself. Getting across in front was Ruffy in the back half. Gibson back to Guerra. And then Guerra on the wrong side for him, short to Renouf, who's got the mark, and he's going to go down the line and find Campbell Brown.
Thanks on his skills there, no trouble at all.
I think to beat the very, very best teams, not only do you have to function exceptionally well as a unit, but you probably need some individual brilliance as well. And the one thing Hawthorn do have on their side are players who can form those extraordinary talents.
Ray gave it to Graham. Not sure that block on the mark is working all that well. Coming up was Revolt. Hodge got it from Birchall. Gives it away to Sewell. Sewell chips it up towards the wing. Buddy's starting to sense it. He's starting to feel it in more ways than one. They've hit his hammy there. Slow to get up. Meantime, Gwilt. Sweeping hand pass back towards the middle. Here's a chance for Blake. McEvoy peels off. He wants the football, but he's bypassed. High ball. Schneider. Well, Schneider does brilliantly. He was looking to his left-hand side there, or rather his right, just to see where he could run if that ball hit the deck, but didn't need to. He took the mark. This is Goddard. Well, over the head of Mick Walter, who didn't seem that interested, to be honest. Brown, Franklin, Roughhead, Sewell, Renouf, slips. Renouf's in trouble, goes looking for Murphy. I'm not convinced. Murphy gives it across towards Brown. He's taken to ground by Montagna. Ball slow to release.
On the ground.
Umpire Ryan decides he'll ball it up.
You don't want Gilt to get Ruckman under pressure. That was basically the situation there. Hawthorn, the wrong player kept getting the handball 2 or 3 times.
See, Buddy grabbed the back of his hamstring there. I actually think he might have heard it when he took a mark late in the first half. But for Hawthorn supporters, let's hope it's nothing serious.
Fisher over the footy, did well, kept control. Hayes' handball good. And then Jones got it to Goddard, so much of the ball. And now Dal Santo bought some time cleverly. Kicks to his skipper, who couldn't take the mark. Hodge gets back. Don't see Hodgie do that too often. Breaks the tackle. Seen him do that a few times. Skipper waits. Good stuff, Dawson. Great stuff, Dawson. Good stuff again there by Hodge getting back involved. What a contest this is. What do you got for us, Tim? Can you hear me, Tim?
I am just hearing you, Bruce. I'm just watching Buddy Franklin just disappearing under the into the medical room downstairs, so I'll keep you posted on that.
That's a big story. Clutching the right hamstring. They've been a bit of contention all season long. The hammies of some of the best in the competition. Schneider's got busy in the last 10 minutes. Goes inside the forward 50. Speaking of hamstrings, he stretched his then. Revolt to Stephen. And Stephen kicks a goal.
And that is exactly what makes Nick Revolt a champion. He got himself and couldn't quite complete the mark, but butted up terrifically. Had the opportunity to snap round over his left shoulder, but decided to share the ball off with the young player. And then not only did he dish the ball off, watch his reaction once Jack Stephen kicks the goal here. Young player from his captain, put the shepherd on. It's absolute text, but that's what you want from your captain, Lee.
You want it, yeah, when he just thought his way through, knew what was going on. Give the handball, give the shepherd. I mean, it's just a great set-up goal.
And the thrill Jack Stephen will get out of that is massive.
He looked like he actually grabbed more like his glute, like his buttock. Or maybe high on the hamstring. Yeah, interesting.
So one champ sets up a goal at one and the other one's down in the dugout or down in the rooms, Buddy Rioli. So scores a level. Guerra pushed off it but got back onto it. Did well, Guerra.
Yep.
Oh, like tonight, they're really making the tackler tackle correctly and protecting that guy who gets in there first.
No doubt about that one.
So rough thread on the rather.
Kick against Michael Hoffman. Hey, it's a Goddard.
Okay, so here comes Buddy back.
Mark's here.
So an off-the-ball free kick.
And so Goddard to Del Santo, and then Del Santo to McEvoy. Good little patch here for the Saints, coming back strongly. Graham looks up and finds Schneider, who's become the game breaker.
No, Campbell.
We spoke about before, Adam Schneider's one of those players. You see Buddy just do a few of the stride through. So he would have gone down and just done a bit of the physio tests and bridges on the hamstring and the glute area to make sure everything's functioning okay. But Adam Schneider is one of those players that if you don't respect and don't put the time into him, he'll hurt you every time. And again, we see the communication between the coach and the player.
Schneider kicked 0-4 last week, couldn't find a goal, but tonight he's kicked brilliantly. A couple of great goals in this quarter, and that is a fantastic return for a small forward. 3 goals in the third term, and the Saints back in front.
Oh, isn't it 7 days or 6 days, in fact, long week, like 6-16 last week, St Kilda, and 11 goals won this week, the direct opposite.
You went down there, Lee, give him some goal kicking practice, Lee.
must have really worked on it this week. Just goes to show you, goal kicking really can practice all you like. It can change a lot from week to week.
And it is the dome. There are no elements to speak of, so if you're going to kick straight, this is the place to do it.
Halfway through the term, they were down by 10 points, the Saints. They lead it now by 6. Interesting, the trepidation from coach Alistair Clarkson, sending Buddy Franchise back on the ground. He wasn't too happy about it. He wanted a second and third opinion, but he's back out there now, Buddy.
Buddy Franchise, that's brilliant, Dennis.
That was due, Tom. Down goes Del Santo. Hand passes forward, and there's going to be a free kick, and it will be taken by Del Santo. Hasn't seen a lot of the footy. They're really surging at the moment, the Saints. Del Santo goes to half forward. Picked out his man, McEvoy. He'll kick from about 45. Haven't seen much of McEvoy tonight. Coming up for his 7th possession. Del Santo coming off the ground. But what an important kick this one is.
You say it week after week. When a ruckman gets into the forward 50, the opposition ruckmen are poor defenders. And they just can't really got the agility to defend, which is why McEvoy took the uncontested mark.
Ben McEvoy, the kick of his career, is offline. Hands go up, almost the mark. Kazitsky's claiming it. I think it bounced and came back to him, and the umpire in perfect position.
You juggled it and then just hit the ground.
Sean Ryan was looking front on. That was the only spot to be. Watch it again.
Watch for the punch through.
But it comes back to him.
Cosy with those 3 goals in the opening term had a chance for a 4th, and there was unlucky earlier in this term when the runner went across the mark. Milne held up.
Give it to him now. Steve, give him the ball.
Lucky there, another slip from Sam Mitchell. We saw it again in the dangerous part of the ground. Just need to stem the flow at the moment. St Kilda have had 8-1 inside 50s in the last 10 minutes. Hawthorn just maybe take possession of the ball, deny St Kilda the ball.
It's ebbed and flowed a lot, hasn't it? Right now it's flowing this end. So Burgoyne decides to get it out of that defensive 50. Pack up there. Franklin, one of them. Hodge emerges. Peaks quick, but Hodge teased him enough and then gets a long ball in. Brown and Gwilt. Gwilt cut across in front quickly and ran it over the line.
And Brown just becomes a bit of a problem, doesn't he? He's been moved off Schneider, Tom. Obviously, he's gone forward now.
Watch Goddard off the ball.
So boundary throw in. OK, Goddard's on notice. Up goes Skipper, knocks it down. Dempster backs through the pack. Head down in the opposite direction. I think that's Bateman at the bottom of that pack. Not sure, though. Maybe Brown.
Hawthorn have a lot of size in their defence, really, and I think that's when Brown was actually playing on Schneider, it was just a bad matchup. Stratton's now taken over.
No surprise Brown was at the bottom of that pack. Ellis, Burgoyne. He's picking up Burgoyne, getting better and better. Down towards full forward. Lunging at it, Lewis. Spills across to Dawson. Dawson, the hand pass to Goddard. Montagna. Well worked. That was slick. Gwilt His kick across the ground, an element of danger. Stratton reaches over the top, knocked it down to Brown, comes back to Murphy. Murphy goes short, Stratton reaching. Now he's a left footer with a raking kick.
I like Stratton. He's one of those players who can play tall and play small. Yeah. It's almost the modern defender. Knows when to shut down an opponent, so you can put him on a player like Schneider. You can use him as a floater across half-back who judges the ball well in the air. So we might get to see, hopefully, his first goal.
Yep. Hasn't kicked an AFL goal.
20 seconds.
Bargain pickup in the draft as it's turning out. Explain that to me. Long kick down towards full forward, and the mark is taken on the goal line by Ruffy. Well, obviously Stratton is ambidextrous. He's come in and he's kicked it with his right foot. What's that all about? Goal.
I was preparing myself for a left footer.
Well, he is, isn't he?
I didn't want to say anything. No. I was keeping my counsel, Dennis.
Well, he struck it well. Again, this is a cardinal sin from the defence to not get a ball through. I mean,
McEvoy tried, didn't he? He tried to knock it through, but
just have to kill it.
Yeah.
Again, they've taken some marks on the goal line in this quarter, haven't they, the Hawks?
Yep.
Ruffy probably has to be that close at the moment to get a set shot home.
I reckon what you'd be saying is when you got your ruckman down there, how's he positioning himself to make sure he can jump at the footy rather than getting caught in body contact and not being able to reach up and spoil on the goal line?
What needs to happen is your key defender, whether it's your centre half-back, full-back, needs to be in communication with the ruckman and basically both come from separate angles and get the ball through the line.
So Renouf up. Saul and McEvoy fight for the footy with Hayes.
Let him go now. Thank you. Thanks, Brad. Brad. Thanks, mate.
He's a Saints supporter. I don't reckon he had a scarf on before the game.
I don't think so either.
Claimed.
So Renouf and now Hayes.
I wonder what it was about the Saints that made him support them.
Well, they were in front at half-time by point.
Do you reckon he's as fickle as that?
He might have liked the brown and gold as a colour combination.
Yeah, he might like red, white, and I thought it was blue.
Tom can draw a conclusion quickly, can't he?
Great actor.
So McEvoy and then Dos Santo. Something a better third quarter. Rioli searched for it brilliantly. And then Saul off one step. McEvoy can't quite get to it. Lewis hard at it. Franklin tried to rope it in and then chases his own footy, and that's off Graham. Is that out in the full? I think so.
Hang on, stop there.
I think it's gone out on the full line, but I'm not sure whose ball it's come off, so I've just one touch out of the lights.
Okay.
I've seen it come off on your foot.
Boz. Okay. No, I haven't seen it at all.
Okay, I'll play touch out of bounds.
Okay. If you don't know, we have to go to lesser. Throw in.
Well, that goes into the turf anyway, I think.
Yeah, I think it did.
That's fantastic umpiring, I think. They took the time to explain it.
And if you're not sure, go to the lesser, which is the out of bounds.
Perfect.
They got the right result. Boundary throw in. Gardner decisively. Down to Jones, smothered off the boot of Hayes. Brilliant pickup. Well, that was terrific by Jones. Found a way through. Little chip towards the wing. Revolt, awkward half volley. Met solidly by Burgoyne after the ball had cleared. Sewell falling to the ground to Birchall. Gives it across the top to Bateman. Just over a minute in the term remaining. Bateman, long kick inside the forward 50. Oh, terrific defensive mark by Gardner. No doubting now. He is their #1 ruckman by a mile. Goes short and finds Fisher.
It's been good, hasn't he? In short to Dawson. I was looking at Gardner. He's the #1 draft pick. In that draft, the only player from the 90 selected. Tom, you were one of the zones, but they're still playing footy as Cam Mooney. He was taken in the 50, so only Gardner and Mooney survived from that draft when he was taken #1.
Yeah.
When you look at it too, Bruce, it wasn't a great draft, was it? As it turned out. I'm not putting those guys down. But, no, well, apart from the obvious, Tom, you know?
Warren Treadway would have been part of that.
He was
draft.
one of the
Port Adelaide
as well.
zone.
Yep. So only Cam Mooney and Michael Gardner are still going from the 90 selected.
What is interesting too, I find that with Gardner in the ruck, and tonight it's McEvoy, most of the time there's a ruckman on the bench for St Kilda.
Yep.
So they've really only got 3 players that are heavily rotating on interchange. So they've been a good side for this last 18 months. So they're making it work, but sometimes you think they've got one 200-centimetre player too many.
Got out, third man up again, got it down to Hayes, dying seconds of the term. Needs a quick transference here, Birchall to Mitchell, and that should just about do it. Mitchell on his knees, Burgoyne, wait for the siren. Wow. How's that? Set for a dramatic finish on Friday Night Football, one of the games of the season. St Kilda 11-1, that's right, 11-1, impressive. Hawthorn 10-7, everything to play for.
So all square under the roof before a sellout crowd on Friday Night Footy. Hawks have been involved in a lot of close matches this year. Renouf wins the all-important first clearance.
Hold on to his jumper. Advantage.
Well, the advantage to Osborne, and rams it high into the upper tier. Gets his second. Just a big advantage, isn't it?
That's all it was.
Played a huge role tonight, Michael Osborne. We just see the contest here. Really, yeah, Osborne playing off. Hard to see actually what happened there, but just
hand on the jumper in the front, just trying to get some purchase in the mark, I think.
Again, those
look, Fisher, Blake, just the jumper there. I reckon it's Sam Fisher on Jordan Lewis. And Michael Osborne, he's doing a great job. He's playing the defensive role on Sam Gilbert, who's only had the 4 kicks, 2 of which have been clangers, and obviously playing a pivotal role in the Hawthorn forward line as well.
Dream start for the Hawks then. They lead by their inaccuracy. The hand pass comes out from Schneider. Great third turn, but Burgoyne kicks inside the forward 50. Takes a couple of hops, coming up Dawson. Lays it off. Hard to get through there. Gilbert, gang tackled, holding the ball. Franklin will take the kick within range. Alongside him, Ellis initially was pointing to have a shot, then run away offering a lead, but I think he settled on his first thought, telling Buddy to kick a goal.
Yes, I think it was a toss-up who you want to be having the shot from outside 50. I think Franklin's distance.
Okay, if he gets it sweetly, it's a question of accuracy. You've got to pick your mark when you try and force a way through. That wasn't, well, that is a re-injuring of that nose. That wasn't the pair to try and get through, though, as far as Gilbert was concerned. Osborne and Franklin tackling with an attitude. Can he time this one? The superstar runs to the 50. Distance, no problem, but it's offline. Behind, margin 7 points. Early going, final term on a Friday night in Melbourne.
It's a compliment to Gilbert, but they've really worked on him tonight, haven't they?
Yeah, absolutely.
So Hayes out of the back half. Won't get it over Guerra. Guerra not far away from his 100th game for the Hawks. Started at Port Adelaide and then with the Saints. Kicked a lot of goals for the Saints. Kicks to Roughhead. Drew some opponents in, and now Saul, a lot of the ball tonight. So's Hodge, and so's Burgoyne's had a very good second half. Saul tries to break the tackle, good enough, and then Guerra gets a bit of purchase to fall forward. Gardner over the back.
Jared, I must say, it does look like you're just diving forward.
So that's to Roughhead from the ump.
Still no fine on that this season. Love to see one. Boundary throw in. Renouf hooks it down behind. Taken high, Hodge. No free kick. Montagna underneath him. Hodge delighted to fall on him.
Good footy.
We'll have a ball
Thanks,
up.
Hodgie. Thank you.
Still a lot of players slipping around here. We've got plenty of numbers around the contest here.
Just don't rub his nose. There goes the bounce. One down by Renouf. Stolen away by Hayes. Did well. Timed the release. McEvoy back to Hayes. Wonderful courage. Hayes flipped it over the top. Took the bump. Gave it to Jones. To Graham. Back to Jones. Down towards half forward. Kazetsky. Revolt is lurking. Don't mind the contest either. Revolt too tall there, but Gibson did well. Birchall. Hand passes across towards Guerra. Guerra lobs the ball to Mitchell. Mitchell thinks about it. Delayed the hand pass. Sims Bateman into space, kicks it towards half forward. Some jostling. Franklin looking for a free kick. Tapped away there by Fisher to his own advantage. It was good work initially by Dawson. Fisher runs to centre half back. Kicks to the outer side wing. Wonderful acceleration by Gillam. Worked his way in front. Earned the free kick. And when you know it, he's cramped up.
Spot on, Dennis. She did well there, Gillam.
Yep.
Buddy was desperate for that ball to get over the back a moment ago, wasn't he? As Burgon goes long to fall forward. Dawson doesn't get a good bounce. Franklin brings him down, and in doing so, sets Lewis up, who then misses off the ground behind.
Franklin cramping as well.
Got the hobbles, hasn't he?
I was going to say, we saw Gillam cramp. It's been such a taxing game. Both sides, just the work rate has been massive. Playing the contested one-on-one style of football, and I just get the feeling it's just going to be that game where it's a real battle of attrition, and it might take some individual brilliance to get the job done.
And the Hawks are putting them to the sword, but they actually haven't put them away, have they?
Yep.
The next goal just means so much in the context of this match. Hawthorn could get another. It's going to be a long way back for St Kilda. Can they force the issue here?
Gardner with a high ball. Gillen, who was down just moments ago, suddenly to his feet, contested, but the crumb came to Pete, kicks it around the corner. Little hand pass from Gibson across to Mitchell. Mitchell looking for Sewell, nudged under it by Gwilt, leads back in the race. Sewell does well. Gwillan would not be moved though. Down goes Gwilt. Coming through strongly was Sewell. Sewell the chip towards the pocket.
Free kick.
Franklin gets the free. Big call.
You held him by the arm.
Well, Gwilt did all he could moments ago just to hold his ground, but no one came in support.
Just here. Yeah, but you can't hold him by the arm.
And again, not a bad angle, this one for Franklin.
Definitely there.
Buddy Franklin.
50.
Oh dear.
50.
Montagna too close. Was it Montagna? I think it was.
Sorry, peeking back his real estate, buddy.
Sam,
What's he
Lee knows
thinking?
what it's for. I told him not to come forward.
Franklin has kicked 5. Montagna was standing there on the arc of Buddy, almost brought Buddy to him.
Yeah, it is. I mean, that 5-metre corridor from the line.
If I call play on, then you can come in, but I didn't. And I told you to hold your ground. I said, come back a metre and that's your mark. No. I mean, that's his natural arc. That is not play on, mate.
It is that situation, isn't it, where play on may have been called, although they do tend to say if you've got a bit of an arc when you're kicking action, you can do that without playing on, but Montagna went too early.
Three-quarter time about what Revolt and Kaczynski needed to do in this last quarter. The last couple of times they've gone forward, the Saints, neither Kaczynski or Revolt have been able to get any separation whatsoever between themselves and their direct opponent.
Hawks have had the last 5 scoring shots, 3-2, big margin of the match. That's a great grab.
Gee, that's been a great contest. I mean, Rewald's been good, but I reckon Gibson has defended really well. When he's had sort of 50-50 chance, he's done well.
And they're coming off exactly the same preparation base, both with the chronic hamstring injuries.
Been a great contest, those two.
1 metre, Josh.
And whilst Hayes is not playing on Hodge, their contribution's been pretty similar.
20 seconds gone.
It's a big kick.
3 metres,
Oh,
Josh.
huge.
Yeah, got it.
We really do feel like he's back in the swing of things, don't you, the great champion? That one always to the skinny side, so he's missed his last couple.
Important for the Saints to get an inside 50 there. We spoke about just before the three-quarter time break that St Kilda had 8 out of the last 9 inside 50s. Now the tide has certainly turned. This game's been all about momentum.
Oh, Revolt came back in characteristic fashion, hit the pack hard, couldn't complete the mark. Brown gave it across towards Skipper over the top. McEvoy reaching in, gives away a free kick. So the stars have come out now. Franklin at one end, Revolt missing at the other. It's interesting too, umpire Ryan explaining to Montagna about the 50, said he was allowing Franklin's arc.
So that was documented, that when he runs on a bit of an arc, that they'd allow that natural kicking action and not call that play on.
Birchall, defensive side of the wing, high ball towards half forward. Up goes Dawson, thumps it in front. Oh, brilliant by Hodge. Lewis falling to the ground. Bateman on the lead down there. Osborne in the pocket through his fingertips. Franklin comes up, dragged out of bounds. Boundary throw in. That was wonderful by Hodge.
Geez, if that mark stuck from Osborne, that would have been one for the highlight reel without a doubt. Have a look at this.
What if he finished it as well, eh? Boundary throw in. Skipper knocks it down in front. Fisher had it, lost it. Montagna hand passes in the opposite direction to which his team is going. Wilt's in there, backing out of the pack is White Cross. Lewis thought he was across the line, and he was.
Missed.
So the Hawks with the edge in some key areas. Franklin 5 goals. That equals his best against the Saints. It's the 5th time this year he's kicked 5 in a match. Yet to get past that with a big chance tonight. Goddard squeezes it. He's had a wonderful game. Revolt and Gibson. Lee's talked about their contest. That was a good example of what he was talking about. Guerra held them up well. Brown tucks himself down low to Sewell. A lot of ball. Short. Cut off. Well done by Fisher against Buddy. Fisher short to Montagna.
The Hawks now up to 43 inside 50s. That's what St Kilda concede on average, so tracking very well on that particular statistic.
21 scoring shots to 13, but still pretty tight this match.
Hawks by 13 points. Gilbert on the outer side, lobs one down towards half forward. Milne in a battle there with Murphy. Milne, that's a wonderful tackle on the ground by Young, holding the ball. Fantastic.
Broken play now, whether Hawthorn can make the most of this.
And you would think that comes from watching a lot of tape, and not necessarily is Young going to pick up Stephen Milne, but he knew what Milne might do in that situation. Go to ground. We see it so often, and he just rode him down. On the outer side, rough head, tackled by Peake. Had it a long time. In there is Blake. And he'll have a ball up.
Back in.
Big win for St Kilda there. You'd back Roughhead. He really needs to take that mark over Peake on the wing.
All manner of things happening in the crowd. Throwing up. McEvoy. Hodge moves it about 5 metres. Sliding in there, the big guy. That was Renoff. Fed it back for support. The kick comes inside the forward line. Well, was that a throw? He lost control of it, did Gilbert. Came across to Fisher with a bit of help from Gilbert. Schneider. Edged under the football by Brown. So Brown has gone back on Schneider, and Schneider was a catalyst in that 3rd term.
3 goals he kicked Schneider. Now Graham wide to Revolt. Needs a good bounce. Didn't get it. Gibson. They've done that well, the Hawks. I mean, particularly Hodge tonight. That underground hand pass. Here we go again. The bouncy one. And then Buddy to Stratton. Stratton kept his cool. I think he's definitely a right footer now, Dennis.
Blast.
Now Lewis couldn't quite. Gee, Osborne's been very good. Left foot. They slip, they slide. And Blake held his ground against Ruffy. Called to go now. Heard the umpire, got almost fell over. It's like an ice skating rink, isn't it? As out goes Gwilt. Long and wide. Young. Oh, hip and shoulder on Montagna. He rode him beautifully. Away he goes with the bounce. And then Young goes with one of the plays of the night. Osborne, it didn't quite stick. Trying to get it Blake. Goddard. Young again. How did he get back? He must have had an elastic band.
Gwilt to Montagna. Short one comes to Graham. He plays on immediately. Slips a hand pass away. McWalter back to Montagna. Montagna goes looking for Gardner. He was going to get a free kick. Advantage won't be paid. Gardner, the defensive end of the centre square, just chips to space. The run of McWalter. His side down by 13 points.
That's a good mark.
It was. Kaczynski on his knees, plays on to Stevens. Short one. Milne. Barely the 15. Barely above the turf. Milne went down and found it. Brown and Revolt.
This is pulsating, Julie. It's just been defenders on forwards.
Yeah.
Genuine having to play. Defenders having to play genuine defence, and forwards having to beat the defender when the ball comes forward. Great start.
Milne, not the easiest kick for a right footer, and he comes, but he bends it back, and from the moment he kicked it, he knew it was a goal. Back come the Saints. 7 points the margin.
You often think that any forward who gets a disposal should almost be a contested one because he has to get off his defender, but with zoning defences, that's not necessarily accurate these days. But tonight, every forward who gets a kick has to beat the defender to the footy.
Lee was just talking about the precise nature with the way the St Kilda players have to bring in the ball. They've actually got to back their kicking because it is so one-on-one. You see the contest there with Gillam. Stratton was the loose Hawthorn player, so they couldn't afford to kick the ball to him. And this time against Stephen, really have to nail the pass, and that's exactly what they did. And you're right, pulsating football.
5 goals out of their small forwards, the Saints. 2 to Milne, 3 to Schneider. Ball kicked by Mitchell. Gilbert chasing hard. Burgoyne. And then Gilbert's handball, a bit of a task for Peake. And Osborne been very good in that. So 5 goals out of Schneider and Milne and 5 out of Cozzy and Revolt for the Saints. So they're big guys and they're little. Ellis tried to finesse a bit. The Saints, you feel, have been given a lifeline here, a real chance again. Hawks have been in control for a long time. Saints had not kicked a goal until Milne's set shot a moment ago for 24 minutes. So Gwilt, so good a month ago when they knocked Geelong off.
Kicks it towards the wing. It bounces on beyond Revolt, who was the target. Mitchell, who's drifted out of the game in the second half. Strong tackle got him down. Gibson taken front on by Revolt. Holding the ball, in the opinion of the umpire Riley took him on. Crossed the ground now after the turnover. Opportunity for Dempster, at least initially. Gwilt got it from Blake. Back it comes to Fisher. Hit it sweetly. Ray looks back towards the middle. Intended for Peake, who came strongly. Took the mark. He's got plenty of support. Goes to Gardner. Could have given it to Graham. Graham is a long kick, but Gardner thinks he can do the trip. Down towards full forward. Off hands, falls in front. Schneider. Milne gets the goal. Point the difference.
Had a really interesting game, Stephen Milne. He hasn't had the huge possession count. He's up to 7, but he's kicked the 3 goals in port. He's put his body on the line on a couple of occasions. He's one of those players that doesn't necessarily have to have a great night, but he can have individual great moments, and he's certainly risen to the task in this last quarter.
It's a patience game, isn't it, really? It hasn't been an easy game for forwards. They'll keep persisting.
It's the golden rule, just go back to the footy. If you don't accumulate the ball throughout the game, the best way to get it is keep going back, and that was a great example there by Stephen Milne, just to get in at the actual football, snap the goal. Really important.
So any mindset the Hawks might have had us sitting on a 2.5 goal lead's long gone now. We're back to that 1 point. We've been there a lot tonight. A 1 point margin one way or the other. Every clearance now vital. They've been so strongly fought right from the first bounce tonight.
Watch the hand. Thank you.
The various coaching positions here with Clarkson on the ground, a line behind the stand. Bateman, Hodge, and then Hodge to full forward. Roughhead had to defend from behind. Saints onto it. Well, Jones had a bit of an area. He didn't want to hold his feet there because of the pressure and also the slippery stuff, and a bit ball up.
Jump off now, let him up.
Felt the uncertainty of the players there for a moment, didn't you? To hold their feet under pressure.
I think they realise now I've got to be very careful where I put my feet.
Well, we didn't get that record, but close to 50,000, and boy, they made a noise all night.
Just outside the 50, Gardner goes up, taps it down, only as far as Skipper, kicks inside the forward 50. Franklin's got 5 goals, pushes his man off the ball. That was Fisher. Over the football, Gwilt, ridden into the ground, held to him, says the umpire. Ball up towards the pocket. Hawthorn by a point.
Buddy just slow to get up, just cramping. I think the rule we spoke about earlier, plenty of players will be on their last legs in these dying minutes.
The tempo has been sensational in this final term. Burgoyne finds a gap, just lays it off to Whitecross, who bends it back, but it's late bend. It goes out of bounds on the full in the opposite pocket. Blake to take the kick then. Just under 8 minutes to go. Blake Short, very short. Not the spot for it. Coming up on the lead, Goddard. It was thumped away, and the ball is out of bounds. Umpire McBurney right on the money.
Dangerous kick.
Yep.
Good closing speed for the Hawks. Skipper Gardner. And then Burgoyne's tackle, ball released. Dalsanto, now Goddard gets the ball. And with that hook, it's out on the fall.
Gee, they've defended in there forward 50 well. They're just... They're obviously still in the game, St Kilda, but Hawthorn's ability to make it difficult to get the ball out of that back 50 has been really good.
Hawthorn have been involved in more close finishes this year than any other team. They've won 3 games this year by 3 points or under.
Every one between Brown and Hawthorn's goal.
And so Brown goes to that 50. Good mark. Hodge held his ground.
That was a great mark, wasn't it?
He had Jones and Hodge. Again, a great one-on-one contest, wasn't it?
I reckon if he was on the run, he kicks the ball from 55 metres fine, but set shot over the man on the mark, that'll even test Hodge, you'd think.
Well, I've said before, he's got the temperament for the kick. Has he got the length?
Wait for it, wait for it.
He gives himself the best run up possibly. He won't get the distance. Big flies everywhere. Osborne stayed down. The Saints to swoop. Revolt in the back half.
Well, just for the moment at least, all on Hawthorn's forward line. Saints can't get it out. Revolt goes back to be their deepest forward. He's on the wing. Boundary throw in. Reaching over the top, Gardner. Camped in front, Sewell. Hayes, hard man to beat. Ray's got the football under pressure. Scrambles it up towards the wing, and it ricochets off Gisborne. And goes out of bounds.
St Kilda actually played that defensive stoppage really well. Sam Mitchell was obviously a fantastic clearance player. Farron Ray had the hard defensive tag on there, just didn't let him any space.
Gardner once more. Hooks it down behind. Well done. Got it to Goddard, to Ray across the ground. Pete into open space. Nothing much on though. Kicks it out wide in front of Schneider and finds him. Again leading Brown to the football. Schneider just forward of the wing. McWalter running hard off as Schneider ignores that. Goes long, and why not? Down towards Kozetzky. Just edged out of it. He's not happy. Gillum took the mark uncontested. Comes short to Ellis.
How do they hold their nerve here, the Hawks? Ellis has to go very short to Renouf, but they're on the back foot a bit here. Renouf and McEvoy. Well, it's not quite the Cox plate, is it? But the centre wing, cut off by, well, I thought Dempster now saw, here's a chance. Osborne's in a sort of a one-on-one. Gilbert held his ground. He hasn't had many wins tonight, Sam Gilbert. That was a big one. And now Goddard. Saw Rioli running in there. He hasn't had an impact, Rioli, after a bright start. Now McEvoy. McEvoy wide, Revolt a target, and then off Hodge for a boundary throw-in. Gets to so many contests, Hodge, doesn't he?
Just reads the play so well. Just makes that first step. Knows where the ball's going.
And a great touch there. That's almost a mark of respect between Hodge and Revolt.
That's real one-on-one, Hodge and Revolt, isn't it?
Absolutely.
After the boundary throw in, Mitchell only as far as Dempster. Dempster right on the wing, looks towards the corridor. Brown, well, he couldn't get to the contest. He's claiming he was blocked. He's certainly hurt.
I think he just ran into the back of it.
Yes, Ray's on his knees.
That's a oblivious
to all of that. Graham just took the mark. He kicks inside the forward 50, and a good mark is taken by Murphy.
And that's a 50 metres
the price this
into the
time.
ground, okay?
50-metre penalty.
Worth their weight in gold, those contested marks from defenders, I reckon.
You've got to say that.
He loves those defenders.
I do. But Murphy it was this time. We just see Brown.
Just here, mate.
That's going to look pretty ordinary tomorrow morning.
Nick, take him out.
We've had
Nick,
8 50-metre penalties in the game, 4 each way. All 4 of the Hawks penalties on Buddy Franklin. Guerra, short one. Not too convincing. Wasn't 15. Ellis, little 1-2 there with Mitchell. Now he forces the issue. Goes to Young. Running out of space there was Ellis, but he pulls it back inside the 50. And the mark is taken by Roughhead within scoring range. A goal and they lead by 5. Behind and scores a level again as they were at three-quarter time. And in this marvellous run by Hawthorn, their only loss in round 15 came against Geelong at the MCG by 2 points. Chances are if they lose tonight, it'll be a similar margin. Roughhead with other ideas. This for the lead. Kick is on the way. The lead belongs to Hawthorn. He's got 3. They're up by 7 points.
Yeah, we've actually spoke tonight a little bit, haven't we, about Roughhead's kicking action, and that was a good one. And sometimes he virtually kicks off 1 step. At least he kept 2 or 3 fairly quick steps forward, made really good contact. He's kicked 3 goals, 3 tonight, and a couple of those behinds, I thought he struck it well. One hit the post, but under pressure, stood up.
He'd missed 3 set shots tonight. He kicked the one from the goal square, but 8 goals from Franklin Roughhead. That's about what they were doing in those 08, wasn't it, between them, a match?
And you can see how much that meant to him. He really, he's obviously, I mean, you couldn't help but feel the pressure about your goal kicking, but to silence the critics, he nailed him from there.
Dal Santo, Kosicki just worked under it by Gillam. Jen Gibson has played a mighty fine game. Switches the handball. Burgoyne's been good. Arches the back. Doesn't waste too many balls, does he, Burgoyne? And finds Renner.
His quickness on the second effort at ground level is what's been really good by Gibson. Obviously, in the real aerial contest, Rewald's reach is too much, but he's been really good at that second effort.
So Hodge to Young. 7-point game. Young very long. Roughhead underneath, didn't go in the end, and then Burgoyne's a bit stiff there. He read it well, but out on the full.
After my last attempt to nail the margin, it is 7 points Hawthorn's way. That goal stretching it beyond the goal margin then. Roughhead's beautiful kick from long range. So the task now, fairly and squarely with the Saints. Clock is running down, just over 3 minutes. Revolt, knowing the urgency of it all, has this ball the defensive side of the wing. Kicks it towards half forward. Kosicki, up he goes. Couldn't hang on. Villetta Montagna standing tall, doing brilliantly, was Renoff, and now Rioli's away. One bounce down towards half forward, checked nicely, assessed what was up ahead, and found Osborne. Osborne back looking for Rioli. Oh, what a mark.
Well, that was a low percentage kick. That was a real low percentage kick. I was just wondering why he was kicking the ball short, but Rioli made it good.
Always been amazed. We've seen it this year. There's Eddie Betts, there's Stephen Milne down the other end of the ground. The small forwards have perfect technique in a contested marking situation.
You're on it.
That was a great vision to see, just his awareness there, Rioli. He had the ball. A lot of players would blaze from that situation. He's gone on, followed his work up, then cut back to get the provide the inside target.
Rioli comes in.
Interchange. No goal.
Oh, it's interchange
It's your free
against
kick.
Hawthorn.
Oh,
Interchange.
wow.
And 50. Hawthorn and 50. Let's go 50 metres. Interchange.
What a penalty. What a penalty.
Sean. Up here. Up here. Here. Mark's there.
Not conclusive. Kick goes inside the forward 50.
Unbelievable, isn't it? Revolt takes the mark. Rioli dobbed it at the other end. But it was impossible for us to make sense out of what was happening on the boundary line.
Perfect. That's it, Nick. This is the mark.
Dempster loaded it up to his captain, who took a beauty.
Yeah, great mark. That's where he's had it over Gibson when he's been able to reach up full height.
We've seen everything here tonight, haven't we?
Yeah, we have.
Yeah,
He's missed his last 3 shots, Nick. That's a, well, you know what it is. It's a
Big miss.
massive miss. He thought it was home, didn't he? So one kicked the difference before nearly 50,000. A pulsating evening with so many talking points, it'd be hard to know where to start.
well, that was certainly one, wasn't it?
Yep.
The interchange. A chance to end it at one end. Suddenly, a chance to pull it back to a point at the other. Still a chance for a tie. Revolt's kicker set that up nicely. It's out of bounds off the fist of Gibson. Boundary throw in outside the 50. A minute 15. And certainly the post-mortem's taking place on the bench there now in the foreground. Clarkson can't change that. He knows he wants to get on with it, living in the moment. Boundary throw in. Skipper knocks it down. Ellis only as far as Fisher, smothered off the boot. It comes back towards him. Burgoyne took a while. Heads for the boundary line. Coming through was Franklin in the opposite direction now. A chance for Sewell after the Dawson hand pass. Mitchell feeds it back to Guerra. Clock is under 1 minute. Guerra kicks it up towards the wing. Getting in there, doing nicely. The hand pass from Dempster. Over the shoulder it comes towards Gwilt. Gwilt back to Dempster. Dempster drives it beyond the wing down towards half forward.
Huge play coming up here. Dawson in short. Montagna. Graham keeps his head, goes to the pocket. Milne. No whistle. Revolt hooks back to a hot spot at full forward. Kazee. Is it a mark to Kaczynski?
No.
Play on.
Skipper's hands. Thanks, Justin. Straight back to you.
Cheers.
One last clearance to be won by either team. McEvoy kicks a goal. Unbelievable. How did that happen?
I think the ruck situation, I think they've been trying to get Renner back on for this last minute or two, Hawthorn, but they haven't been able to. And I think it might have been the failure of Skipper to really make a contest here. Oh, no, it was the man on the ground. Oh, no, that was the mark.
That's the Kaczynski mark.
Here we go, there's...
Still no excuse to have the goal face open like that.
Yeah.
Should have been some Hawthorn representation across. Whether you've got a direct opponent, you make the decision to get and fill the space. So easy for McEvoy.
Dry smile from the press. We could have the top 3 teams, each with a draw, come tonight. Just seconds away from knowing that or not. 12 seconds to go. It needs a quick takeaway. Skipper knocks it down. The last thing they want is a stoppage. Burgoyne wins it out of the middle. We're down to 5. Rioli wanted a free kick. It's going to be a draw. It's going to be a draw at Etihad. What a game. Remarkable.
That's interesting. You see the two supporters, almost the St Kilda supporters, pretty happy with it. And the Hawks, the one that got away.
You kick the last goal, you think you'd probably pinch the draw as opposed to blowing the wind, which is probably what Hawthorn are thinking at the moment. But it's always quite strange when there's no song, isn't it? Yeah. What happens next? But great. It was a terrific game of football, and I think Hawthorn were probably, they had 52 inside 50s to 43. They probably were marginally the better side of the night, had more scoring shots, but St Kilda's fantastic accuracy has got them the draw.
And whilst Revolt missed the goal, Rioli did kick it at the other end.
Yeah.
The interchange cost Hawthorn dearly, didn't it?
That. Yeah,
absolutely.
No doubt about that.
It was the... Ben McEvoy's only played in one losing team ever, one losing match. He's played 23 games for St Kilda for 21 wins, and he kicks the goal to make it a draw. Down to you, Tim.
Well, here with Luke Hodge, are you feeling right now like that was one that got away?
Yes, it's a bit disappointing. But look, it was two good teams having a red-hot crack, and look, both teams had their opportunities to score, but look, it was a good tight game, and at least we know we can match it with one of the best teams in the league.
What about the interchange? Were you aware of what the error might have been late in the game?
When I looked up and seen the emerging umpire holding the flag, it didn't take too long to switch on what happened, but so that's disappointing. I think Junior Boy kicked it, so frustrating, but that's footy.
Well done tonight.
He was terrific, Hodge, as he so often is. St Kilda just so accurate. 6-16 last week, 14-3 tonight. Milne, big second half along with Schneider. Down to you again, Tim.
With Nick Revolt. Nick, do you feel like we didn't get right out of jail, but you almost got out of jail tonight? I mean, it's better to halve the points.
Yeah, well, two's better than none, obviously. So, yeah, look, pretty good game, I thought. Bit of a tough tussle all night, both sides. You know, been in pretty good form lately. Obviously, last week was disappointing for us, but we bounced back pretty well tonight. And two teams that will figure strongly at the end of the year, I think.
They're a very good side, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. I think that probably lulled a few people into a false sense of security at the start of the year with the Hawks' form, but they've been really good probably the last 2 months and building towards some pretty ominous form come the right time of year. So they're a great team.
And you feeling better all the time?
Yeah, every week's another step forward. Got this one out of the way on the surface tonight, so that was good. But credit to our guys, we fought right to the end, didn't give up.
Thanks for your time, Nick.
Cheers, mate.
He certainly had great signs for Nick. He missed a couple late, but he played very well. Franklin with 5. And just a remarkable game. Friday night footy, plenty more to come in the wash-up for this one. In the end, we couldn't split them, the Saints and the Hawks.